Hi, good Monday morning. It is Christmas week. Everybody got their shopping done. You purchased your gift cards.
Yes.
Purchased your Powerball tickets.
No.
Ready to celebrate? Why not? It's the fifth largest jackpot tonight. 1.6 billion.
Oh my God. I probably will now go and buy a lotto ticket. I bought I told you I bought $8 worth of lotto tickets for the first time a couple of weeks ago, and I won nothing. And I was like, this is a waste of $8. Maybe I buy some tonight.
All right, today is the penultimate show of 2025. Tomorrow will be the last show that we do in 2025. Show will be on a little bit of a break until January 5th. A lot of stuff that happens between now and January 5th. But today and tomorrow, that's it. And then the radio station kind of shuts down for the holidays, which used to not be that way here at 1620 The Zone. Yeah, we used to have a deep bench. We had, like producers, get some reps in.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like their show.
Okay.
They get a show during the holidays. But we don't. They've decided not to do that anymore. So the whole station will be a lot of best ofs of all the stuff that's gone on in 2025, which was a crazy year for sports talk radio in Omaha.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be happening. So 2 more days of putting up with us wackos. But hope everybody had a great weekend of sports. It was a fantastic weekend of sports. How was your hangover? The best hangover since 2020?
By far.
Yeah.
By far. Best hangover since I turned 21. I mean, it was euphoric. This is so sad, but it's the truth. That 3 hours of like after the game, where you're kind of like decompressing, and then like now we have Twitter, right? So you're going through on Twitter and you're seeing like DJ Moore with the cheese grater, and you're seeing the good, better, best.
That rivalry was sweet.
And then you're seeing like it was great. It was like the Packer reactions, like the people who do the live streams for the Packer games. You're seeing all that stuff. That 3 hours is probably one of like the top 10 moments of my life.
That's awesome.
If I'm being honest.
You deserve it. Now you're in the playoffs.
It is sad. It is sad. I know it's a little sad.
What do you mean it's sad?
But I mean, it's sad that
doesn't top 2016.
No, God, no. But I think it's sad in the way that 53 men control how happy.
That's what I was saying.
How happy and sad. And you've said it so many times, and you're totally right. Like I was sitting at, the bar that I go to. I was sitting at that bar, and I sent you a picture. And that when I'm drinking that whiskey and I had that glass and I'm thinking about that win, that like feeling is like what you like, Gary. It was that moment of like this is all we're chasing when we're sport fans, right? We're chasing that happiness. We're chasing like that feeling. I was like, it's been years. It's been years since I had
happy for you and all the Bears fans. That was a crazy game. I'm looking for a team in the playoffs to adopt. My team is dead. It was before they even took the field in Nashville yesterday.
Couldn't even enjoy Minshew Mania.
Oh, jeez.
No. Hey, everybody enjoy Christmas night at Arrowhead, where Denver is an 11.5-point favorite. Oh, Denver lost yesterday. Dang. Denver is an 11.5-point favorite over a quarterback for Kansas City that most people cannot pronounce his last name. So I'm happy for you. I was in a Waffle House in Texas watching that game.
That's awesome.
So I will always remember that moment, but I was happy for you. What a game. What a rivalry. What a weekend of sports, whether it be the college football playoff. Now, I know there were some blowouts there, but if you're new to the party, we have blowouts. 10 of the 15 first-round games in the playoff era have been considered blowouts. So nothing is new.
First 2 games are good.
Also, nothing is new that people hate the sport. People that cover the sport hate the sport, which is really odd to me. I know there's things that are wrong with college football, and it's not just the playoff. But, man, if you cover the sport and you're talking about the sport and you're doing a game, how about love the sport? How about not whine about the sport? And how about ESPN getting the hell out of the way? Because ESPN is sullying the waters of college football. But, on the other hand, we could have 4 great quarterfinal games. So, thank you, committee.
Did you at least take in some Montana State?
I did. And then that game got out of hand.
Yeah.
We get Montana State and Illinois State for the FCS championship. But then the NFL was interesting. We had DK Metcalf, who doesn't like having his full name said to him. That's the reason why. It was not he was called something else, Chad Johnson. It was he was called his full name. And I'm sure that will be coming down the pike. But what a weird, wild game that was to finish off the second window. And then if you stayed up last night, happy Drakemas, because the New England Patriots have a quarterback, they have a coach, and they have themselves a football team as they rally to beat Baltimore last night in a game that had a little bit of controversy, but it also had a fourth quarter Drake May. And now we have 2 weeks to go in the NFL. One more game tonight. Father Time is playing against the San Francisco 49ers. Phillip Rivers against the Niners in Indianapolis. But I do have to say this about the NFL. After just saying really nice things about your football team,
Sure.
that I might be adopting them. I don't know. Because I love your coach.
Come on.
I don't know yet.
Come on.
I don't know yet.
Come on,
no,
Gare.
because I think it would be bad if we had two people that were suffering on the show.
Gare,
Yeah.
I'm going home. Okay, I'm going home for this Christmas. I can bring back my dad's Dan Hampton jersey for you. All right,
Ooh,
you got.
that's kind of a hard. You got to take them up on that offer.
We got to McMichael if you want one. We got some spare jerseys.
Who
right?
out there has got a better deal than that for me? Who can get me a better jersey? But
if he declines, we might need to talk.
With
all that said about the Bears, I hope you lose next week.
Whoa.
Yes. I hope
How
San
dare
Francisco wins tonight. I hope San Francisco beats the Bears, because if not, Week 18 will be blah in the NFL. I would like some drama, but it's going to have to be the Niners win tonight and the Niners win next week against Chicago on Sunday Night Football.
That'd be good.
So you can win the following week, but I would like a little drama for Week 18 because I need something in my life. Again, my NFL team is dead. Yesterday was bad. Yesterday was really
embarrassing.
Bad.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
It was tough.
It brought back Chiefs memories from when I was in college.
So
hungover.
I have not missed watching a Chiefs game. Now the majority have been on TV.
Yeah.
I've been lucky enough to go to a handful of games here in the last couple of years. I watch from start to finish. Okay,
right.
That's my team.
Mm-hmm.
It's been pretty good to watch from start to finish for the last 7-8 years. Yesterday was really tough to watch that entire game.
I thought for a second you were going to tell me you didn't watch.
I can't do it. I'm with them. You know what? I got 2 more weeks with them.
You've been through worse.
I'm staying with them. You know what? I think I watched as a Chiefs fan, watched that entire game yesterday because I like watching the Chiefs play in the preseason, and that's essentially what it was.
Right.
I watched in preseason, so I knew some of these guys that were activated.
Sure.
So I could have slipped into the booth with Mitch and given a breakdown of them. But man, when your team is bad and it's at the end of the year and you have no hope, man, it's rough.
At least you were at Waffle House.
Was part of you sitting there watching the Chiefs' bad team at this point, right? Watching them play, being like, I can't believe some people have to do this every single week. Like, I can't believe that some people have to endure this every single year. Was part of you thinking?
No, because I'm selfish and it's all about the Chiefs.
Okay, fair enough.
But I do, on that point, I remember talking to Ryan Lefevre, who is the longtime TV radio voice of the Kansas City Royals.
Young Ryan.
And this was actually, it was before they had their World Series window in 14-15. And he said, and I was like, how do you do this?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, man, it's tough. He goes, when you hit August and you have no hope and you still have 2 months of baseball to call and you have to be excited. He goes, it is extremely difficult. And I didn't listen to Mitch yesterday. I didn't hear the highlight of 3 field goals. But yeah, it's when you're used to this and I know everybody's having fun right now. But the Broncos did lose yesterday.
Nice.
It's tough. It's tough. You know what? I hope Matt Nagy stayed in Tennessee. I think he'd look great on the sidelines of the Titans. And I hope Andy Reid, who is not retiring, is coming back, steps outside of the family and hires somebody that knows how to run the football. But I can see us now moving into the top 10. We're getting closer to Jeremiah Love, and I love it. I love it. That's the only saving grace for the next 2 games. But enjoy Christmas night with the Chiefs and the Broncos and whoever is playing quarterback for the Chiefs. Go, Chris.
I'm surprised
He'll be our backup next year.
I'm surprised you're saying you're getting closer to Jeremiah Love. Isn't there a part of you that's thinking maybe you're getting close enough for Caleb Downs? Because you're a Caleb Downs guy. You are.
Yeah,
you are the. Every
think
time we've talked about college football and college football players, you and by the way, I'm not blaming you. You're totally right. You have found a way to get Caleb Downs into the conversation because he's so great. You are now bad enough and losing to the right teams to where, hey, weird things can happen with the quarterbacks and the wide receivers. And everybody's in love with some of these pass rushers. Caleb could slip to 7. He could slip to 8. And then you could because like you need your Snead, you need your Reed,
they'll
you
win
need your
one
shutdown
game.
guys.
I can't imagine Travis Kelce going out on a losing streak like this. Like they might find a way to win Thursday night, and it'll be really odd how they win.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be just outside of the top 10. But
by the way, that's the worst. As somebody who grew up where that's where we are, that's where you get your Shea McClellans, my man.
But
that's a tough spot to pick is 12.
This is that your like football season is over, whether your college or your NFL team is over, when you already know how many days until pitchers and catchers report. And that's kind of where I'm at. I'm like starting to
not too long, right?
I'm like starting to figure out, the roster. I'm like, hey, Pete Crow Armstrong, look like I lost some weight. So I'm on the sidelines. Boy, you get lucky in Chicago, man. You got Pete Crow Armstrong and Caleb Williams, like two young stars that embrace kind of being in Chicago. So
and Bedard.
Good on them.
You got Bedard too.
Yeah.
Pretty sick.
But all right, coming up on the show, Evan Bland's going to join us. Last chat with Evan before he jets off to Vegas. Matt Rule spoke on Friday. Matt is got his goggles on. Everybody says, how about that backward hat? He's got his goggles on. He's swimming in the fishbowl for the first time in his career at Nebraska. Said some very interesting things that made sense and also triggered some people. But he is one coach of many that can blame Curt Cignetti. I'll explain a little bit later. Also watching the playoff this weekend. It just reiterated what I think Nebraska should do in the portal, and they should stick with this. There was a portal departure late last night. Maverick Noonan is in the portal. Sorry to see him go. Fortunately, it's another local guy that goes to Nebraska and doesn't pop, but some injuries at the beginning of Maverick's career got in his way. He'll find a good home, and he'll be able to play ball and play at a level that he played at in high school. But Malcolm Hartzog is in the portal. We will discuss that, but we must discuss the most important thing in the morning.
Oh, please. I've been waiting for this.
Okay.
I didn't text you last night.
A couple of things.
I got multiple texts from people waiting for this.
Okay. All I have to say is...
You need a cigarette.
Oh my gosh. One, basketball is back around here, apparently.
It is.
All three Division I teams, red, blue, and black, all won this weekend. Creighton must be playing better because Creighton fans were having fun with 26-24 at halftime yesterday. So they must be feeling themselves again. Yeah. Good luck tonight against Utah Tech. We'll have tickets to give away a little bit later on the show. But I want to say this, and this is not only to the greatest showman that has ever come from the country of Turkey. Now, granted, I don't know many other people from Turkey. I do know where Turkey is. I like to consume turkey. Turkey, turkey, goo, turkey, turkey, giggle. But the man from Turkey, who at times has been a nightmare, is now a full-on showman who did something last night that only Rink Mast has done this season. He is right up there with some of the greatest players of all time. When you talk about Russell Westbrook and Nikola Jokic, you're going to talk about Berke Buchenjel because they all have something in common. Many people are not going to tell you that today when they compare those two, and they put them in the same sentence, but they all have something in common, and you cannot deny it, that the greatest showman that has ever come from Turkey, that calls Lincoln, Nebraska home, last night went for a triple-double, and he hardly broke a sweat. But I want to shout out the Nebraska basketball fan because it's good to be 12-0.
Yes.
It's really good to be 12-0.
I recommend it.
And there's going to be maybe a little bump in the rankings. So Nebraska will go into Christmas, where last time at Christmas, we were watching the Diamond Head Classic.
We were. Shout out Bryce Williams and his OR MVP.
We were, as a group, we're watching it, and we're like, this is what it can be. Well, that has buoyed Nebraska. Take out the fact they didn't make their own conference tournament, but they went to the Crown, and now they are 12-0.
They won the Crown.
In a world, think about this. This is how crazy our world is.
Yeah.
People say outside of our sports bubble that it's crazy going on. I ain't got time for that, okay? You can do whatever you want out there, okay? I'm focused on the sports bubble because we got a lot of stuff going on between now and the end of the year. This is a world that we live in, boys and girls. That Indiana football is 13-0. Nebraska basketball is 12-0. And Indiana football most recently beat Nebraska by nearly 50. But Nebraska basketball has won 4 in a row against Indiana. Welcome to the upside-down world, and welcome to Triple Bear K. But also last night, kudos to the Nebraska basketball fans. Okay, the return on investment, you're starting to feel it. You know, everything you put in, you just hope. You just want some hope Okay. You want Hoiberg to deliver hope. You want ho, ho, ho. Here's hope. Well, they're a good basketball team. They're 12-0. And you know how I know that everybody is on board and they're ready for either a groin kick or we are going to be dancing in St. Louis. Place was sold out last night. Those games
Sunday
are
night
tough.
game.
Hey, that last game that is a bye game, because Creighton will probably go through this tonight against Utah Tech, is that game is tough because everybody has their plans to go home for Christmas. You know, get about 5 days. You probably didn't go home for Thanksgiving because you were playing, but now for Christmas, you get to go home for 5 days. You already have your flights lined up. You're ready to go. Coach keeps reminding you, hey, we got to dial in. We got to dial in. You're just coming off finals if kids take finals anymore. Those games are tough because the bye team coming in, they're there to collect a paycheck, but they're probably going to play hard. North Dakota is one of the most unathletic-looking Summit League teams I've ever seen. I've been in the Summit League for 13 years, okay? But they do play hard. So that sometimes can be a pain in the butt because you're not playing very hard and you got one foot out the door and that other team is playing hard and you're like, that guy weighs 160 pounds, he's scrawny, and he has male pattern balding. Okay, why is he making shots?
Why is he dunking the basketball?
So those games are really, really tough.
Yeah.
And Nebraska found a way in the second half to get a little juice, and all of a sudden you start to see some good basketball. But shout out to the Nebraska fans because I can judge these kind of games. You know, tonight might be sleepy downtown. We don't have 16,000 tickets to give away, but we're going to do our best to put butts in seats tonight for Creighton and Utah Tech. Those games are kind of sleepy because the team that's a directional school you're playing, no one knows where Utah Tech is from.
I don't.
I know where North Dakota is. You don't. But
is it Fargo?
No.
Well, Fargo is in North Dakota.
But remember, keep going on 29.
Yeah, it's a little bit.
Brookings?
Winnipeg.
Brookings is South Dakota.
It's South Dakota.
Yeah, stop right there.
Okay, I will.
The place was sold out last night. That tells me everything I need to know. I'm watching Michigan, and they're a wagon. Hello. They're 11-0, but they're not 12-0. Chrysler Arena is sold out. I mean, you can tell this time of the year what the fan base thinks of your team with that bye game, and if there's butts in seats. And last night at 7 o'clock on a Sunday night, and I know a lot of people aren't working today, people showed up. And you know what? The showman gave him a show. Bear K said, thank you, fans, for all you've done for me. And he gave them a triple Bear K. Okay? So he'll wake up this morning and probably under his pillow has the frame box score of his triple-double. This is how great it's been for Nebraska basketball, young Matt. Nebraska basketball is just like 2018 Central Arkansas.
How?
You know, I was thinking the same thing.
That is the last time that a basketball team has had two different players have a triple-double in the same year.
That is a great
I don't know how that 2018 Central Arkansas team finished up, but I think I have a feeling how the 2025-2026 Nebraska basketball team will respond. But good on the crowd last night. And Bear K said, you know what? I'm not just a meme. I'm not just somebody who gets talked about by a radio host in Omaha. I have an importance to this team. You're important to me. I'm important to you. And with that, Nebraska is 12-0. So good on all of you. But most importantly, what a Christmas gift. What a Christmas gift. And we got an interview after the game where he only understood about 40% of the questions that were being asked. Okay?
This is awesome.
This
he did a good job.
Welcome to the winter.
What's really funny is I went back to Lincoln to the College of Journalism this weekend to go and say hi to some people. When I walked in, Sam Hoiberg was he wants to become a broadcaster. We've talked about this before.
He is doing broadcasting things.
Yes,
he's doing some games.
He was doing a mock game with one of our very good
Mr.
friends,
Dolman.
Mr. Dolman. They just had a game. I think it was just a random like Maryland game that they were like announcing, and they were doing it and writing notes and whatnot. And so I came in. You know, after
a Maryland game?
Yeah. I could see it. I could see through the window that they were announcing Maryland basketball.
Sam said he was like going to do North Star Northeast. Now we've already moved up to doing fellow Big Ten games.
He's going to do Nebraska women's basketball here in a couple of weeks. Well, I don't know if it's going to be on TV or on radio, but anyway, he was doing that. So I walked in. I know Bill really well, so I was talking to Bill. And then I know Sam from, you know, being a student while he was, you know, we were students at the same time. And so we were just talking about the team. And he said this to Bill and I. He goes, we got to get Bear K back on the home floor. Like that was a point he made. He's like, we got to get him back on the home floor because they love him. And he's like, and they're feeding off of him. He's like, we need to get him back in front of the fans, like to keep this thing going. And so what does he do? He gets back in front of the fans and he drops the triple double.
Yes.
And then, do you know how, Gary, do you know how poetic and it was almost like an FU to people like me who doubted him. How beautiful it was that what sealed the triple double was a 3-pointer.
Yes.
It was
like magic in the 92 All-Star
perfect
game.
ending because what do I always say? What do I always make fun of? I go, I don't want him to make threes because he's going to take more threes. And every time he takes a three, you go, no. Yes, he hits that three. He looks at the bench explodes. It was beautiful. It was the perfect ending.
He's morphed into this. Last year was a little bit of a struggle bus. And while a lot of people burnt their number 9 jerseys, I went looking for one.
You did.
He does have an importance on this team. Like there is a reason that he's out there. He's not like a kid in a box that people pay $25 to sit in the 300 level to come and stare at and go, what's going on there?
He's not Michael Jordan.
They've found a role for him and he has fit it pretty well. And last year, I don't know if you would have gotten the same reaction from his bench when he does things, because I think it was a rough introduction.
Sure.
But this year to see the response, like against Wisconsin and then yesterday.
Man, they put me in a good mood.
I
was happy.
Nebraska basketball is making people in a good mood. We'll have plenty on what happened last night, but that was a game. First of all, Fred knows his team. Calm at halftime. Everybody's like, ooh, whiteboards are in trouble. Is Fred going to come out with a bandaged hand? He's just nice and calm. He knows his team. They're an older team. He didn't need to rile them up. So they got the win, the 12-0. That's all that matters. And tonight's the last game around here until the break. Creighton is a 19.5-point favorite against Utah Tech. And the Jays have played pretty stellar 100 straight minutes of good basketball.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the Big East is going, Yet! And Creighton's going, hello. Plus 62 in the win margin, point differential for the first 2 games. Do you guys know the nickname of tonight's opponent downtown?
The Buffaloes?
Good guess. I have no idea, so I'm just saying that's a good guess.
I know in Colorado there are buffaloes. Are there buffaloes in Utah?
You know what? Great question. I would have no idea, but I do appreciate the fact that I would not like if Utah Tech were like the mountains or
Mountain
like
goats.
the Scapes or like the mammoth. Or
I have to be honest, you are nowhere close, Jimmy.
Snow leopards.
No, but that would be more of like a minor league hockey or baseball team than a college team.
Great call. The Snow Leopards would be a sick USPHL.
They share, let's see if you're a ball knower here. They share the same nickname as the school that used to employ Gene Bartow and Trent Dilfer.
Yes.
No. And also, they share a nickname with the same organization that has employed Lionel Hollins.
Are they the Dragons?
Dave Twardzik. Jeff Petrie.
Clyde Drexler.
Oh, come on. You got to get this, Matt. Even you.
Mo Cheeks.
Terry Porter.
Are you referring to
Arvidas Sabonis?
Are you
Rasheed Wallace?
What are we doing?
The Trailblazers.
Oh,
they are the Utah Tech Trailblazers. And they are a 19.5-point underdog to Creighton tonight for a game that tips at 7. As Creighton tries to keep some mojo going. So I have to look at the net because this time of the year we do have some net fluctuation. But Creighton has probably made a significant jump over the last 2 games, and Nebraska is holding steady. Welcome to a basketball state where today we'll talk all about football. All right, this is Gary and Matt. Again,
it's funny. It's true. I'm just laughing because it's totally true.
I don't think we're ready to make the transition yet.
Not yet. I think when we hit January.
No, not even January.
Whoa.
Not even January. January 2nd through the 16th is Christmas shopping for Santa Rule.
I have a good update here for Nebraska basketball fans who want Creighton to do well so it looks better on the Q1 wins and everything.
Nebraska fans for Creighton.
Creighton up to 58 in the net ranking.
Yeah.
They were previously 104.
Yeah, you have some fluctuations.
Oh, big time.
Dr. Brown once told me.
And
so you can go up and down.
Like Doc Brown from Back to the Future?
Yeah, I listened to a lot of advice from him.
Yeah, I don't steal the plutonium, Gary. I think that's
never.
probably the best advice. Central Arkansas's 2018 roster, 14-19, 8-10 in the Southland Basketball Conference. They finished 7th.
They gave us Scottie Pippen once.
They scored 72 points per game.
Well, they're not as good as Nebraska, 25-26.
No, they're not.
All right, Evan Bland will join us. That's the lineup brought to you by the Rooferees of John Higgins Weather Guard. I wonder where Kip Kissinger is working tonight. Kip Kissinger works every game. I thought he was going to be on the field in Nashville with Clete Blakeman yesterday. Every time I turn on a college basketball game, Kip is working. He's really, really good. But he's working like every game. He's got him and like Roger Ayers work every college basketball game on TV.
Is it me or I just keep falling into Kelly Pfeiffer games? I feel like every game that I turn on, I'm getting Kelly.
Hey. Kelly wasn't at his best last night because it was a little bye game. So, the juice in the building was down. But, I mean, he didn't even give it they reviewed one in the second half and he had to get on the mic.
Yeah, I know.
Like, he didn't have the oomph.
But isn't he
be better, Kelly?
Isn't he kind of a showman too? Like when he gets up to that camera on the review, where the way he sticks his arm out, and he's kind of flexing it and he's staring kind of daggers into your eye, like he's trying to look away, but he's kind of smoldering. I feel like Kelly's a showman.
You know what Berke should have done when they took him out of the game after the triple-double? He should have stopped at the scorer's table and they should have given him the mic.
Just stands up on the scores table like he's Dwayne Wade.
All right, lots to discuss. Good weekend for the NFL. The Bears are in the playoffs, and my man is happy and hungover. It was a fun night.
Dude,
fun night.
Awesome.
Sometimes you need luck.
Ain't nothing lucky about it. Ain't nothing lucky about it.
I think there is luck in sports when it comes to wins, losses, and injuries.
I feel like not when you do it 6 times. When you make 6 fourth quarter comebacks in one season, what's lucky about that? Maybe it's just they're well coached and they never give up.
Oh, maybe could be called clutch.
Yes,
I would take that. All right,
Iceman.
We're off and running. We do have tickets to give away to tonight. So
I think we already gave them away on Friday. Yeah, we gave them.
I thought we were giving away tickets to Marquette and Utah Tech.
We gave away. Yeah, we gave away both on Friday.
Well, Marquette's bad.
Terrible, Gary.
Yeah.
I know you did. I know you didn't listen to the Blue Jay overtime, but I don't mean to make this. I know this ain't a Marquette overtime deal, but they're bad. They're awful. I was stunned.
All right, so I apologize. I was not alerted. I thought we had tickets to give away today.
I should have alerted
you guys just on a roll. You're like, hey, let's just give away everything.
Yeah, kind of. We were just like, we're gonna hit this both, but at the same time, we had 2 pretty good questions.
All right, so even though we're not going to give you tickets, go see basketball tonight. I'm sure you can get seats close to the floor for Creighton and Utah Tech, which is a 7:00 start.
19.5 points.
Yeah,
kind of low.
Well, I don't know. Let's see how.
Are the Trailblazers good? Do you know anything about
7-6?
Yeah, no, I might.
This is a bye game for a reason. But remember, these are sleepy games.
They are sleepy games.
They are sleepy games.
I don't bet basketball. You know that. I know better. Went 3-0 yesterday. Mixed Sportsbook had a banner day.
All right. Good luck.
Thank
Congratulations.
You. Appreciate it.
All right. We're off and running on a Monday of Gary and Matt, our penultimate show of 2025 on 1620 The Zone. All right, good Monday morning, everybody. Everybody that has school off or you've already begun your holiday vacation, enjoy, get rested up because 2026 will be here before you know it. And here in Omaha, we're going to have a brown Christmas.
Hell yeah.
Well, brown
60
brown
degrees.
Christmas.
A
What?
brown Christmas.
What? I mean,
There is no white Christmas.
Is Miles Garrett going to show up, or is Johnny Manziel going to show up?
If they do,
is
they'll
Brian
be wearing
Hoyer
shorts.
going to show up?
Judging off Johnny Manziel on Saturday, Friday night into Saturday morning, the answer to that question would be no.
I probably could have done a better job of naming more Browns before getting to Johnny Manziel. That's my
Bernie
apologies
Kosar.
there.
Shout
Should have
out
let
Bernie.
off
You
with
went
Josh Gordon.
Johnny Manziel before Shadur Sanders. That's interesting there.
Well, just like
Or Deshaun Watson.
Did you see that moment? It was really
or Brian Sipe.
It was really funny where Shador, like, he hurt his pinky in the game, and so they had to take him out in a red zone snap, and they took him out and they put Dylan Gabriel in, but the Cleveland Brown faithful, they did not know that Shador was hurt, so they thought they were just taking Shador out to put Gabriel in for a snap.
So they booed?
Dude, they started raining down boos in the game, and like so much so J.J. Watt had to step in and be like, he had to explain the situation to people on the broadcast because it was ridiculous.
Speaking of explaining things, so the craziness that ended the Detroit-Pittsburgh game, which is so Dan Campbell this year, their time and game management is kind of out the window. So you get chaotic games. And it seems like Detroit's that franchise where when the game ends, you go, oh, I didn't know a game could end like that. That's kind of what the Lions have been recently. They play those type of games, and that game was bonkers from DK Metcalf to in the end of the game. So
crazy.
I don't understand. Now, I think one of the bigger winners, before I mention Tony Romo, one of the bigger winners from the Saturday night broadcast of just a scintillating Packer-Bear game, Tom Brady's getting better. Whether you want to admit it or not, Tom Brady is getting better on air. And especially at the end of the game, where as a quarterback, he walks you through the mindset of Caleb Williams and Malik Willis and like what they need to do and what's going to happen.
He's teaching more.
I think Brady has gotten better in year number 2. You know, somebody who keeps going south?
Tony.
So Tony Romo. And so the game ends yesterday, and nobody knows what's going on. And by the way, the call
beautiful.
where
gorgeous.
Where they said touchdown first. I mean, he set up the Lions fans, and then he just stuck the knife in them but there is an OPI, and the game is over. So Romo recognizes that it's an offensive pass interference. But why did he keep intimating that, is this going to be a touchdown? Is this going to be a touchdown?
Yeah.
He knows the rules that when the OPI happens, the game is over, but he kept going, I wonder if they're going to give him the touchdown. I wonder if they're going to give him the touchdown. All right, Tony, you know, we're because you bring up J.J. Watt.
Yeah.
So Eagle and Watt, I think, are the best CBS crew.
I agree.
Romo's bringing down Nance, but Romo kept talking about that. He's like, I can see the OPI, but Jim, is it going to be a touchdown? No, if you know the rules, you know that the game is over and the touchdown doesn't matter.
When have you ever seen an offense commit a penalty and then they put time back on the clock? Like if you have just watched football ever, you know that when the offense commits a penalty, they're not going to, we're going to give you the 8 seconds. No, that's your fault for committing the penalty. That's your penalty. You lose that time. So there was even like reporters and people I follow on Twitter and like longtime NFL writers who were like, that was a weird ending. That was, strange. No, it wasn't. If the Lions committed the penalty, they wasted their time. They should have committed the penalty. The penalty is that you wasted time. Hey, we're 000. We're done. We're done here. See ya. I knew that at the time sitting here, and you're totally right. We were acting as if like, ooh, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. If you've watched football, game's over. Why would it keep going?
All right. We will have a brown Christmas here in Omaha. It's going to be like 60 on Christmas Day.
Hell yeah.
Why is it brown? Why is it not green?
There's no green grass.
No green grass.
Dead.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense.
Why are you
get your grill out?
Is it just a Bears thing? Because you bristled when I said there's luck involved. I think there is luck in sports, especially injury luck. We don't, because it comes off as an excuse. We don't talk enough about how you have to have some luck with injuries to make it through a whole year. I mean, yesterday was another day. Packers have lost another tight end to an ACL or no, an Achilles.
Achilles, yeah.
I mean, there were more injuries yesterday. I lost Gardner Minshew to an ACL.
You did.
So, but but when you make it through a season, I think it's okay to say, hey, we made it through injuries. We didn't really talk much about Bonner during the season, but that's a gigantic injury because sometimes we go, oh, because it looks as an excuse. No, that's just the reality. But I think also a reality is, and it's not just a Bears thing. I've been the benefit of luck as well, and not Andrew, is I think you have to acknowledge that there is luck in competition. Yet you got lucky. Now, you have a coach who I love in Ben Johnson, who has installed a belief in that team that they can win anywhere, and they've been very clutch, and they have helped the cardiologists of Chicago with some of the games they played.
They have.
But you kind of got lucky in that game before you got an opportunity to win the game outright with a unbelievable throw and almost on the same level, a catch.
Yeah.
Jordan Love gets concussed. Okay? Jacobs gets banged up.
You're right.
And then of all things, and this is a Matt LaFleur problem with special teams with Green Bay, and it's not just this year, why was Romeo Doubs out on the hands team? Of all people, if you watch him play his regular position, he's not a guy I say, man, put that guy on the hands team. And also, he's a guy that wears the guardian cap.
Yeah.
So you know on an onside kick, you're going to get crushed. And they put him right there on the hands team, and he flubs it for one of the rare, and I mean rare, the Packers also have a famous flubbed onside kick in Seattle in the playoffs. But he's out there. Okay, why is he out there? So you recover it when nobody else in the NFL is recovering these, and then you take over and you make some great throws to get it to overtime. Then, of course, the throw to win it. It's okay. It's okay to admit, in my opinion, that luck is involved in sports. We could go another injury around here.
Sure.
I brought up Bonner. I should have brought up the biggest injury that happened with Nebraska football is Dylan Raiola. Okay, if he doesn't get injured, I don't know if this is luck, but there is the injury luck of this. You got to be lucky with injuries. The season is different, and probably the head coach doesn't have his hat on backwards talking to the media.
Well, it's funny you bring all that up because the reason I bristled was because I've been dealing with it in the Twitter, okay, within the kitty, and I've been trying to defend my team, and I'm not going to tell you, Jordan Love kind of lowered his head into Austin Booker. I'm not going to tell you, hey, Josh Jacobs had 400 carries last season and definitely was due for a regression, and that's what happens when you run running backs into the ground. I'm not going to tell you that Rich Bisaccia has consistently been one of the worst special teams coordinators in the league for the last couple of years, because that's neither here nor there. Yeah. Your point is made, and your point is right? This is why we always say certain titles are the hardest to win, right? Like the World Series is so hard to win because you have to stay healthy. Same thing with the Stanley Cup. Same thing. I mean, look at Nebraska volleyball, right? They were dominant all year long, undefeated regular season, and they have one bad week of illness and the rotational players stepping on the ball.
And they got beat by the national champion for the third straight year.
Yeah. And Andy Jackson just didn't have it. Happens, right? It's really, really hard to win. But I also think, though, and I've learned this through your team. Some teams just, yes, luck is involved. I totally agree with you. But some teams are really good at making their own luck.
Yep.
Some teams are really are much better at making.
Or you're in a spot to be beneficial of bad luck or good luck.
Yes. And they capitalize on it. And everyone's always told me, well, the Chiefs, they can't keep winning close games. The Chiefs can't keep doing this. This is ridiculous. They're going to have regression. I mean, maybe I've always just said, maybe that's just who the Chiefs are. Like the Chiefs just, that's how they operate. That's how they win. That's how they do things. I think
sometimes it comes back to bite you when you don't have the season where you are the beneficiary of luck.
Well, sometimes too, I think it just comes back to bite you when you don't have as good as a team as you had in the past. But like with the Bears, they are a beneficiary of luck 1,000,000%. I'm not delusional enough to admit that, but there are teams who get lucky and then they don't do anything about it. There are teams who, have, unrealistic turnovers happen or weird stuff happens. And then what do? They go 3 and out, or they don't score a touchdown or they turn the ball back over. I mean, when we're talking about Nebraska football over the last decade, how many times did Nebraska football were the beneficiary of like, oh my God, what a great play, what a great turnover. And then they do nothing with it.
I've had this discussion with high-level athletes and they don't want to hear about it, because they'll say it doesn't exist because they want it to be strictly mano on mano, and whoever wins that battle wins. But I believe that there is luck involved in sport. Hell, there's luck involved in life, and there's good luck and there's bad luck. Would you consider this under the guise of lucky? Miami got lucky that it was an extremely windy day in College Station on Saturday. Now, Miami did some things to win the game, but that was a start because Texas A&M and also Miami didn't know how to play in those conditions.
Yeah, I would say so, 1,000,000%. I think that there were times where like Minnesota would be playing when they were in the outdoor stadium. They were playing like the cold playoff game, and Blair Walsh misses the field goal. They got unlucky that the weather was like that, and it was so hard to kick. And their kicker, who was spotted, like we could go through so many instances of in terms.
And I know this is it's like blending lucky and clutch, but sometimes you are giving breaks and you have to take advantage of them. And the Bears have been able to take advantage of some breaks, and they've been able to create some breaks. But like I had this good discussion with a Packer fan yesterday who basically reminded me that Jeff Hafley's defense without Micah Parsons had held the Bears to 9 points in the first 57 minutes of the football game.
Yes. I had to remind myself too, probably at the end of my 3 hours. I was kind of sitting like real pretty, being like, oh my God, the Packers aren't that good. We could play the Packers in the playoffs. Like, I confident about a pack. I mean, Packers played better football than the Bears for, like you said, 57 and a half minutes.
But like game. Texas A&M a week ago, when it mattered, Caleb Williams and the Bears were better, and Ben Johnson was better with late game situations and figuring out what he was going to do.
What I believe in more than luck, though, Gary, is momentum. Especially like momentum when you're in your home stadium. Like when the Bears recovered that onside kick and Soldier Field was rocking the way that it was rocking, it almost did not matter that Caleb Williams could not complete a pass over the middle of the field the entire game. He was going to find DJ Moore at the 20-yard line. It almost didn't matter that Jade Walker is a guy that probably 85% of Bears fans don't even know who he is, right? We're going to throw the ball to him in the end zone. He's going to go and catch it. Like that, it's just momentum to me. And we have some people in Lincoln who go, I don't believe in momentum. And I go, I don't know, man. I watch a lot of sports, and you just kind of see it and you can kind of feel it. I mean, I think basketball is probably the best example of it, where it's just like, once a 4 run becomes a 6-0 run, becomes an 8-0 run, becomes a 10-0 run, and you're at home, it just snowballs into
kill shot.
Yeah. So I think that the Bears this year have been lucky, but they've been also good in just capitalizing on their momentous occasions.
I just need the Niners to beat them next week because I want something in week 18. You're in the playoffs now. You don't have to worry about it.
I'd much rather be the 2 seed and play the Packers than the 3 seed and have to play the Seahawks.
I mean, there was a point yesterday before games began that Chicago, Green Bay, Detroit, or San Francisco, somebody was going to miss the playoffs, like a really good team. Now, 2 of those teams could still miss the playoffs. But I just like some drama in week 18. It was inevitable with my team. And I just want something to get me through the last couple of weeks of the regular season. I don't have any fantasy football. I'm not gambling. I just want some drama. I like drama. Okay, I like Johnny.
Man, I like how we were like, we're going to have our last shows of 2025 here in the next 2 days. And just like to see how things have flipped, where a year ago around this time, Thomas Brown was my head coach. And I was begging for hope. I was begging for Luke Skywalker. And you were actually saying here, probably going to make the playoff. We're probably going to make the Super Bowl. But we still have some things to work around. What a difference a year makes.
Yeah. Yeah. I now get my joy by watching internet D-bags get beat up. That's what I am getting my joy from.
Did you see what was that guy? Jack Doherty? He got his guys got hit and everything because they tried starting a fight with a former UFC champion.
I saw Jake Paul and I was so happy. You know what? For Jake Paul and Tate to lose in a span of 24 hours,
Tate got his ass kicked.
America had a good night in the ring on Friday and Saturday. Hour number 2 is coming up next. We're looking for somebody to blame. I know who that guy is to blame. Everybody is blaming him because then they have to answer, why are you not him? We'll do that when we come back on 1620 The Zone. All right, happy holidays, everybody. Welcome in. Hour number 2. Gary and Matt. Jimmy is here as well. The shopping crunch is on. Go get your gift cards.
This is, you're gonna laugh and people might roll their eyes, but this is me growing up. This is the first time I've properly bought Christmas presents for people.
That's okay.
With my own money.
We've all been there.
With my own cash.
Did you take out a loan in the past to buy Christmas presents, or you just not buy them?
No, it's
Here's a free T-shirt from the basketball game.
My parents would give me money, or it'd be like they would buy something for the cousins, and they were like,
"Here's $20, buy something for your dad."
Exactly, seriously.
Put
and then
Matt's
dad
name
would be
on the
like,
card.
My dad would go, "Here's $60, buy something for your mom." And then I would always be the, it's from Mom, Dad, and Matt. It's from Chris and Matt. I was always the add-on. I was always the, hey, can you just write my name on there? I'll give you like $10 or something like that. So this is the first time where I've gone out and I've used my own money to buy gifts. And I just want to give a shout out to all the parents out there, okay? Because I have spent coin on gifts, and I'm thinking, I'm like, man, like, when I got that Nerf gun and that PlayStation 3 and that chair, and we got those sick headphones, like how much did that? I was like, that had to be a lot of money. Like my parents they went all out for the nice tree and everything. Gifts from Santa, gifts from Mom, gifts from Dad. So shout out all the parents out there, because I can't imagine the amount of coin that some of you are out there spending. So thank you.
You could have hit up the Zone promo closet. We have lots of great things.
No, I went to dude.
Zone stress
real
ball.
Quick out there, if you have some ladies that you're trying to buy gifts for, kind of in
where
a
are we
pinch,
going here?
Bath and Body Works is
new to you.
Is an elite place.
They
to
have
get.
dude stuff too.
No, but like their Christmas deals right now. Buy one, get one free candles.
Yeah.
Right, buy 3 body products, get one free. Right, you can get 4. Get like a bunch of body products. You put it together. It's been great.
Just keep it simple. People are getting cash from me, or you're getting like a Visa gift card.
You give cash?
There's nothing wrong with cash.
You know what? Because it's trying to figure out what people exactly want.
But
I'm just like, just give cash. Just giving cash. I used to be scorned. Now I haven't always given cash, but I used to be scorned of like, that's very cheap and that's lazy. And I'm like, you know what? People can use cash. They don't necessarily have to buy a gift. Okay, maybe they got to pay a bill.
Sure.
So I give cash out, and then you don't have to worry about. Then if it's not cash, I used to do gift cards because, it's like a certain store or something.
Sure.
But I went to buy 2 $50 gift cards a couple of years ago, and the bill was like $125.
Whoa.
And I was like, oh, okay, there's some fees involved here with taxes. I'm just going to go straight cash, homie. So, some people are like, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So I give cash. Not everybody gets cash. It depends on what level you're on in my stratosphere.
Sure.
But a lot of people get cash. And
do you have a tier ranking? Do you have like a piece of paper?
We all do.
That tier ranks. Oh, for sure. I mean, there are certain cousins that aren't getting presents.
Some are BCS bowls, some are the Gasparilla bowl.
Yeah, just ain't happening. This ain't gonna happen. I love how you treat Christmas like an Italian wedding. Straight cash.
Well, because people,
and I'm not making fun of you. I agree with you. I think people who say that's cheap are dumb. All right, you give me cash, I immediately put it in my wallet, and I go, okay, I can I'm now going to buy a lunch.
You can do whatever you want with it. Okay,
yeah, 5 guys.
Yeah. Now I do want to say,
now when I got married, cash was nice, but I kind of wanted a gift. But I've changed. You're getting cash.
I by the way, the people also too, like, part of gift giving is my God, you knew what to get me. You've been listening. You've been attentive. That I thought of these things.
Well,
so you went out and you bought that. That's I feel
well,
like
that's on a different level. Like my buddy, I don't shower with my buddy. Okay, so he's not getting the same kind of gift that the person I shower with is getting. Okay,
1,000,000%.
Okay, that's how I kind of rank things.
Your tier system.
You are showering and sleeping with someone, and then you drop down of like.
Bro, remember that time we showered together?
Have you shared life experiences with?
Sure.
Then it's like the next of, hey, they're friends of mine, or they work for me, or they take care of some of my properties. So I've got it all tiered. And there are I'm at the age now where there's not a lot of movement in the rankings. So
we got
this time of the year is very, very simple.
Yeah. Are there new additions to your tier rankings?
This year at the bottom there is. Yeah.
Yes.
You made it.
But there's not at the top.
Bang.
Yeah, not
Got
at the
it.
top.
Can't wait. I can't.
That
can't
spot
wait
is
for
spoken for.
I can't wait for my $25.
That's the Armed Forces Bowl now.
All on
We're
black, baby.
postseason.
Hell yeah. I'm playing in the Camellia Bowl version of Gary Sharp's gift giving.
Oh.
By the way, you should live stream that on your Twitter of like you revealing the tiers of people you give gifts to.
No.
You do
But
like
people
the pyramid
understand.
rankings?
People understand.
My dad has a picture that's the pyramid rankings of all the people in our family, and the dog is always at the top.
As
And
it
then-
should be.
And
What
then
a
if
waste
I
of money
and
for
then
Christmas.
what?
Spending money on a dog.
Why not?
What do you mean? What are you, Connor Happer?
No, why would you go over the top to spend money for a dog? They're not going to appreciate it. They're not going to know if it's Christmas or it's like New Year's or it's the middle of the summer.
They're always happy.
why,
That's good.
Why change?
Every year he gets a toy for Christmas.
Well-
We wrap it up and we give it to him.
Okay.
It's very sweet.
I don't know. I would treat the dog
I'm
like
with that.
every time I give him a toy, I would wrap it up, make it a special moment for the dog.
My dad has a cup that has like dad and stated it was
Seems
like,
like your best friend actually is his dog.
okay, so he has a
Sucks
cup.
for
He got
you and your family.
he got a cup for Father's Day, and it was like dad, and then it had all the birth dates, right? And it had my brother's birthday, my sister's birthday, and we have three
If it has
kids.
your dog's birthday on it, then I'm not going to Chicago. next
There
year.
was okay, so I guess we're not going to Chicago next
It
year.
has the dog's birthday on the cup.
I looked at the cup and I go, what is April 6th, 2016? And my mom goes, well, that's your brother. I go, Chris was born February 19th, 19. What are you talking about? No.
It's your brother.
Rocket.
Yeah.
And I go, what? You put I came out of you. You bought the dog in Indiana. Okay. We are not equal. We do not both belong on the same cup.
And now the Bears are moving where the dog came.
Do you buy a Christmas gift for the dog?
Hell no.
Okay.
What?
Well,
I thought you loved
No, I love my dog. I go, but
You'll come around.
my Christmas
come-
gift is, hey, I'm not going to have these 2 pieces of bacon. Go, here you go. And I put it to him under the table.
Did he
his
appreciate
Christmas
it?
very, very
That's
sweet.
all that matters.
That's why he likes me.
Yeah.
Going to be a busy day in the state south of here. The Kansas governor is teasing an announcement. Sounds like it'll be the Kansas City Chiefs,
Oh, that was
where they will
legalizing.
be moving. Ooh, better get to the Truman Sports Complex before long because it looks like the Chiefs and the Royals are going to be out. But they're expecting a big announcement in Kansas today.
Closer
All right.
drive for you.
I don't know. It looks the drawings look really, really cool, but I mean, I kind of grew up in the Truman Sports Complex.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
Arrowhead.
Who has not stayed at the Adams Mark across the street, which now is condemned? Who has not gone to the Denny's before it burnt down right by the now Drury Inn? Who has not been carjacked across the street from Truman Sports Complex next to the Taco Bell gas station?
But not at the
I mean,
FCA headquarters.
Yeah. Who remembers that weird building that just sits there used to be the Missouri Tourism Office? That you were like, wonder what that building is, and then you stop in and they got all the brochures. So Kansas City is about to, it sounds like, lose the Chiefs and the Royals to the state of Kansas. All right, Evan Bland's going to join us at about 8:30. His thoughts on where Nebraska is and their preparation for the Vegas Bowl. I was over the weekend. It kind of because he just racking up awards and hanging out with Ant-Man up in Minneapolis. Emmett Johnson was on another All-American list. So he is the 111th All-American for Nebraska football. And I keep bringing this up because as we sort through a 7-5 season, what will be the discussion or the explanation to fans that look at a media guide and they see the name Emmett Johnson in there a lot, but they don't hear his name discussed when people talk about the top 5, 7, 8, maybe even 10 running backs all time at Nebraska?
I think the conversation
Kind of interesting. Interesting season for Emmett that is rightfully getting awarded for his or rewarded for his season, but I don't know in my rankings if he's going to crack the top 8.
I don't
time.
I don't know if he should, Gary, because I think this is no knock on Emmett. I'm not knocking Emmett in any way because you're right. He had a great year. But when we talk about Emmett, what does it get? This is what it will be. Man, he had one hell of a year. That's what it'll be. It'll be he had one, man. Emmett, he had those 8 games, those last 8 games of the season, Michigan State, all the way to Iowa, especially in that first half. One hell of a year. That's But that's kind of it. He was the fourth running back in 2023. He was a rotational running back in 2024. He was fine in the first 4 games of the season. And then he hit that bye week and he found something. And, the one thing he stopped doing was one thing that you and I talked about over and over and over again in those first 4 games is he stopped dancing before he hit the hole. And he just started hitting holes and he figured it out. And it's a credit to him and his coaches and whatever for making that adjustment. But you're right. He didn't have 3 straight years of being the guy and being the dude and all Big Ten.
That's a good distinction because he will end up as a top 10 year all time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But in terms of a career, because it didn't pop, wasn't his fault. Didn't pop until this year compared to Lawrence Phillips, who was the greatest running back of all time in Nebraska, ahead of a guy that won the Heisman. I have a huge fondness, and I wish his career would age better. I think it has, but I wish it would age better. Roy Halou, Amir, Calvin Jones. I would go Kenny Clark, Amon Green.
Mike Rozier's.
Mike Rozier is number 2.
Yeah. Okay.
LP is the greatest running back, in my opinion.
I just want
Nebraska football.
I think you're spot on. I just think with Emmett, it's just you have to have a career, right? We're talking about careers. All those guys that you just mentioned, right, had multiple years of, and even had some of those guys had the years where you're leading into the season.
Yep.
And you're going, hey, we could count on him to have a great year. We could count on him. He might be, a Heisman Trophy candidate heading into this season. We went into Emmett Johnson's final season saying, can he be the guy? Can you?
Well, we didn't expect him to be the guy.
Yeah.
Like we expect him to be 1A and 1B again. I'm just, with this said, I'm glad that he is getting rewarded and acknowledged and that he will, off a year of a 7-5 team where he basically was the whole offense, he will always have that he is a first-team All-American. But like even a Rex Burkhead, the discussion about Rex is different compared to the discussion about Emmett. The discussion around college football after the weekend of the college football playoff, and now we get 4 what could be really good quarterfinal games. Could be. Remember what the score was at halftime of Ohio State and Oregon last year. And in a sport where it's the only sport, God, I love the sport, but the sport does the games well. They don't do the other stuff well. But
totally right.
But I love college football. The 31st and the 1st going to be a great day. Nebraska, Utah, going to be a nice lead-in. But here's the thing.
Will it?
Yeah, because we'll watch. Here,
football game.
You got to treat it so okay.
There's
more people than I thought are going to Vegas for this game. Now they're not going for that long. They're going out on the 30th, come back on the 1st.
Oh wow!
Probably
But I kind of misjudged a little bit of the amount of people like that I know that are going to the game.
Sure,
but they're just not going like the day after Christmas. They're going on the 30th. They're going the 1st. They're out. They're very upset they can't get into their favorite restaurants or their favorite places because it's New Year's Eve and it'll be packed. I think you'll enjoy the Nebraska-Utah game. Maybe enjoy is the wrong word. Is just treat it like an exhibition game. That's what it is. It's an exhibition game. It means more internally than it does externally. There was progress made in 25, but the last 2 games will linger for a while until they play another game where it is not an exhibition. Yeah. So I'm treating it like an exhibition. I will treat it on Big Red Overreaction with John Bishop like an exhibition. I think if you look at it as an exhibition, then you're not going to have a horrible New Year's Eve if things don't go well.
You're treating it you're treating it as an opportunity and not necessarily a result.
Yeah, the value inside is much greater than the value outside, but at this point the practices are more important than the games. So, as they lead up to that and we wait for the playoff. So I think people will watch. I mean, it's Nebraska, Utah.
Yeah,
Michigan fans will watch. That's their next head coach, Kyle Whittingham. I don't know why it's not.
Is that what's? I mean, I've seen that there's been some weird Kyle Whittingham interviews.
It's not official. That's the wise thing to do. Either you're hiring Biff with the man boobs, okay?
Yeah,
and he's a good dude.
Yeah,
Biff is a good guy. There's a thing on TikTok where they welcomed in a young Michigan fan who was very distraught because of Sharon Moore.
Sure,
and the kid is like 10.
That's tough.
Try explaining that to a 10-year-old. Son,
so, that's even worse than the birds.
When he goes, Coach, he goes, Dad, why isn't Coach Moore? I mean, do you say, well,
when a man gets put into a position of power,
because
I mean, what position?
All right, because
exactly.
Okay, because the Johnson got loose.
Kid, Dad, what happened? Kid, it's undefeated.
So
you'll know one.
Biff might by default be the head coach at Michigan, but I think Kyle Whittingham would make so much sense. He would worry me more if I was an Ohio State fan. Now, probably going to be there for a cup of coffee before they settle things down.
He's a young 68.
And whoever hires you may not be their president, athletic director. Mm-hmm. I think Kyle Whittingham would be perfect to be the next Michigan coach because they're running out of people. Jed Fish apparently has background issues. Kenny Dillingham said no. I mean, I don't know what Jed Fish's background is, but people keep bringing that up that he can't pass a background check.
That's crazy.
How the hell did he get hired at Washington?
Well, I don't think
or Arizona.
Yeah, apparently in Washington, rules don't apply out there.
Who hired him at Washington?
Oh, Trey Dannon.
Yeah. So I don't know what's up with Jed Fish.
Wow, that is.
But Kyle Whittingham should be your next head coach. Don't overthink it. Let him coach against Nebraska, and then let him get on his motorcycle and go from Salt Lake City all the way to Ann Arbor.
You were kidding. I look up Jed Fish. The first thing that comes up is background check.
Yeah, I don't know what because I
Did
don't
he cheat on his?
Well, I don't know. Did he have some at Arizona before he got to Washington?
This is AI. So this is the AI overview, but apparently conducted by the turnkey ZRG for the Michigan head coaching job, reportedly revealed issues that caused Michigan to pause their pursuit. Though specifics aren't public, leading to speculation and conflicting reports, he has remained a top candidate for some time as the search unfolds to late 2025.
Which, if a guy has background questions, you're not bringing him into that atmosphere. That'd be a tough word manual. Hey, he's not a Michigan man, but
just hear me out.
So now I'm on a Reddit thread about Jed Fish and his background checks. This is awesome. What a start to the morning.
He has one, but I don't know. I mean, yeah, maybe at this time he's the wrong guy for Michigan.
Probably.
Kyle Whittingham is the right guy for Michigan, in my opinion. But with that said, so we have the playoff, and we got the 4 games, the 31st and the 1st. We got some nice lead-ins. The 31st is actually a really good day. Like the Nebraska-Utah game will have good ratings. But with that said, there is somebody that's playing at the Rose Bowl. This is how we're so upside down. If you would have told me that Indiana, Alabama were playing, I'd say this is David versus Goliath. But it's not anymore because they're kind of similar. And I hope somebody in the college football world that has a microphone on a national level stops and says, we are now post-NIL. Let's treat the SEC like post-NIL instead of treating them like pre-NIL where they had a distinct advantage. Please do that. That's all I request. I'm a simple man. But Indiana's going to play. So there's a lot about what Rule said the other day. And Rule's not alone in this because coaches that have been at their job for 2 years or 3 years or 1 year or some even 4, they all are going to have to answer this question about a guy that is a unicorn and is unique and that can coach ball is why are you not Cignetti? And that's what Rule, he went there. Mm-hmm. He went a lot of different places, but he brought up Indiana. Rule's not alone in why are you not Cignetti and have to explain the difficulty of what I'm doing compared to what he is doing, what I have that he has. And I think these conversations can get uncomfortable because we don't want to understand maybe some of the challenges you have that we don't know.
Sure.
But the one thing we do know is that guy in Bloomington, Indiana is the number 1 seed. They're 13-0. He's the coach of the year. He's got a Heisman Trophy winner, and he's been in Bloomington for 2 years. If I would have told you in 1990, okay, Indiana football, Nebraska basketball, you would have said you are crazy. And in 90, I kind of was.
It was funny.
Did Nebraska at least win the Big 8? About that.
No,
I wonder.
Remember that was a. Yeah.
I wonder if you feel the same way. But I feel like when he said that Indiana line, that he was getting it off his chest. Like I feel like there was a weight that kind of came off his chest when he said that. That he's been waiting to like acknowledge that because he know. I mean,
well, everybody's asking why.
Exactly.
Why are you not Indiana? Why? It's the difficulty of explaining because it opens up some uncomfortable truths about coaching, resources. I mean, this is college football. Watching games this weekend we now have at least 6 to 8 teams that I think can win the national championship in college football. But with that, we also have a much larger gap than we've ever had between Power 4 and Group of 5 because Group of 5 have become a feeder program for Power 4. So we've
Yes.
expanded by about 3 or 4 teams who can win a national championship, but we've expanded the gap between Power 4 and Group of 5. And I think one is going to stay, maybe add a couple, and that's who can win a national championship. I think the gap Power 4, Group of 5 is going to get larger.
Yeah.
So it's the difficulty when you have to explain why you're not Cignetti is you open up some truths either about yourself or the reality of your program, but it's all about resources.
Yeah.
The teams that utilize their resources and have their resources, and I'm utilizing is a big thing because Texas A&M spends a ton of money on football, and they look more of the same.
Sure.
Of coming up short when they've spent all this money.
$1,000,000%.
Is Cignetti makes people uncomfortable because of what he's done that you haven't done. And there are, who is the next Cignetti who has walked in the door and immediately turned things around?
Well,
and if I'm looking at the playoff, there's a lot of familiar teams that are playing on that quarterfinal round again.
Cignetti makes everybody uncomfortable because the fact is, Gary, Cignetti's just better than everybody else.
Yeah. Well, and you don't want to admit that because coaches have egos and they think they have it all solved.
Yeah, but he isn't a better evaluator and he is a better developer. He evaluated Rourke from Ohio and he was in the Heisman Trophy, talks until he hurt his hand. He evaluated Mendoza from California. And he won the Heisman Trophy. He took all these guys from JMU and he developed them into not just high quality Power 4 players. He developed some of them into NFL players. He's just straight up better. And the thing is too now is that Curt Cignetti hasn't just ruined the conversations around current head coaches who haven't been as successful as you want them to be. He's ruined the conversations around coaches who haven't even been hired yet.
Yeah. Well, college football is changing. And if you are part of the change, it's great. But how do you become part of the change? Look at all the money that's being donated.
Yeah.
Kansas.
Yeah.
Now Kansas has struggled the last couple of years. All of a sudden, Michigan State makes a good hire. Didn't Michigan State get a gigantic donation recently?
Massive.
Yeah.
Yep. Massive donation.
Didn't Illinois get a gigantic donation?
Yes, they did from Ellison.
Okay. So
I think from Ellison.
College football is changing. I mean, look at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt got a local 5-star quarterback to stay and turn down Georgia. So it's Cignetti started the change. And if you're not part of the change quicker, then you have to answer some tough questions. And I think you get a little bit angry. Rule is now firmly been introduced to the fishbowl that is Nebraska football. And from now until they have results on the field next fall, I don't know, is this going to turn into a us against the world? Because there were times that I listened on Friday that I was like, here we go.
Yeah.
I've seen this way too many times that the fishbowl eats up a coach who his messaging is not as strong because his words don't match field. And you get into this thing where it's a back and forth and it becomes trust, hope, faith, all of that. And Friday was the first day where I thought, okay, here we go. And then he doubled down. And for the first time, he mentioned what they walked into and he went back even 10 years. So I think Friday was a day to get a lot off his chest. I think he's listening closely, and he can't convince people that we made progress in a 7-5 year, because to me, yes, there was progress. There was progress. Was there enough? No. And the last 2 games will linger, even though you addressed what hurt you in those last 2 games with firings and hirings.
I think it's the classic question of like, when do you stop factoring in what he walked into, right? And I think for Matt Rule, that factoring into things of what they walked into is longer maybe than what other people think.
So this is a question. I mean, that's not a lie. I mean, they had to clean a lot of things up.
Yes.
Okay. That's why you fired a football coach. Okay. Would you rather have had him? Because I say good on you for holding your tongue for a while.
Sure.
Would you rather have him in the first year brought up those challenges, or wait until this past Friday to bring up those challenges after a 7-win season where the expectations were maybe get 1 more or get 2 more, and you are where you are and you're a 16.5 point underdog in a bowl game?
It's a great question. I would rather him bring it up right away, because when he brings it up now, it sounds like an excuse.
Yep.
And it's the truth. It is the truth. I know people who've they were working with Frost, and then Matt Rule comes in, and they're like, man, it is so much different, and we are moving, and we're doing so much more, and we're working so much more, and we're moving so much more, and the expectations and the standards are so much higher. And so they went in and they did have to clean up a bunch of stuff. But when you say it then, it is the truth. Hey, this is what we're working with. When you say it now, it sounds like a kind of an excuse. It's like, oh, it doesn't matter that we had an easy schedule and we didn't win as many games as you thought. 3 years ago, we were battling through so much more. I sorry, like my opinion on it is I agree. You can't deny that there's been progress. At the same time, the things that you had to clean up right in year one doesn't negate the fact that you don't have good offensive and defensive lines. Right? That's still inexcusable to me. And so I think he's when he says it now and he goes, well, 3 years ago this place was a mess. It just sounds like he's just kind of telling you like, oh, it doesn't matter that we underachieved. It sounds like an excuse.
Yeah, I don't think he likes being challenged. I don't think their messaging about they were one play away and what if they would have won against USC, because that is internally that is a thing that they keep pointing towards, but that doesn't resonate outside of the football facility. And I think he doesn't get that. And so all of a sudden you have dove into the fishbowl where people are second guessing where this is going when you have a belief that you know where this is going. And so there's the disconnect. And oh, by the way, throw in another element of this. You got a contract extension.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great
and
point.
You immediately went 0-2. So they're going to have a good month of January, but this is going to go back and forth until they play a football game. And they probably play a football game that matters.
Yeah.
And we're still 9.5 months away from that.
But another thing too is, Gary, is that like even in the middle of the season, they lose to Minnesota, and he's at the Minnesota postgame presser, and he goes, we're still 6-3. We still when was the last time the program was that in October, right? Or when he was heading into the USC game, what did he say? Hey, we have a big game here in November. We're ranked. We have NBC coming. When was the last time that happened? It was like even during the year, he was kind of pseudo making the excuses and like alluding to the, hey, like, I know it's not as good in what you expect, but it's way better than what we had here before. And it's just like at a certain point, that has to stop. And Nebraska has to be judged not based on what Nebraska was, and they have to be judged on what everybody else in college football is being based on.
Yeah, I wish he would just, and he kind of has done this, and I know that he shoots for the stars, and they have more resources. We're about to find out how they spend those resources, because you got to spend smart money. Okay, smart money. They do have the ability to have more resources. Is just say out loud, Nebraska's a development program. Just keep reiterating that. He has alluded to it before, but just say it out loud. Just say Nebraska's a development program, and we're not a feeder program. We're a development program, and that's how we're going to move forward. Instead of trying to balance, are we shooting for Oregon, or are we going to make sure that we don't lose to Iowa, we don't lose to Minnesota, and because we've developed guys, we will then be able to beat Oregon by our play on the field, not our bank account, because that guy is about to retire at the end of the month at the age of 95. All right, Evan Bland coming up in an hour. We will discuss a lot of things with him. Also, more about basketball this weekend, because there was a Big East incident that happened.
A Big East
incident.
I don't think I know what you're referring to.
Oh, I'll tell you. Okay. That's what we'll do. We roll till 10 on this Monday morning of Gary and Matt with Jimmy on 1620 The Zone. All right, 2 more shows, and then we are off until the new year. We'll be back on January 5th. That's the all the shows. So we'll take some time away, and then we'll be geared back up for busy 2026. But if you happen to be in Omaha on New Year's Eve, Hairball is back. Been to Hairball? You heard about Hairball? No. Hairball is extremely popular in this town.
I don't know.
I don't
know what that is.
A bombastic celebration of arena rock.
Oh, hell
80s
yeah.
rock, Van Halen, Kiss, Journey, Motley Crue, Queen, Aerosmith.
Hell yeah.
It's a good show. They're going to be at the Astro on New Year's Eve. Go to 1620thezone.com for your chance to win your way into the show. Mayor Joel tweets in, Rule's complaints about what he walked into would be taken more seriously if he didn't do the dumb podcast and seem very distracted.
I don't know if House Rules and Cuzzo are really the reason as to why the defensive line didn't develop the way that it needed to.
He alluded to. I thought he was really good on Friday because he was honest, kind of told on himself, and then kind of let some things out. Their messaging needs to be better, but he brought up. I think. I know there's a disconnect here because I think during the course of the season, where he thought the program was to where they actually were with on-field results is not together. And was it because of guys that he's eliminated from the program, and so he fixed the problem when the season ended? But he also alluded to something else, because he was asked about, and I've been asking this, when you saw there were issues, how come you didn't step in? He loves coaching defensive line. Him and Terrence Knighton had a really good relationship. Well, they would get at each other, and I mean, Terrence Knighton, good defensive line coach.
Yes.
But Rule would get out of here. I can coach that. And so he didn't do it this year with a guy that probably needed more guidance. Okay, a guy that was brand new to college. He said something, and he didn't elaborate. He said there were dynamics that prevented him from doing that. What were the dynamics? He didn't want to step on toes. He turned the defense over to John Butler. So, you're at the end of the day, John Butler doesn't have a record. Matt Rule has a record. Matt Rule is the caretaker of Nebraska football. So you got to do whatever is possible, even if you step on toes and infuriate people. That's your program. The other people are not at the front of the line getting just whacked. Okay? Yeah. Whack-a-mole.
Yeah.
It's you. But he said dynamics, and I was like, ooh, I wonder, because I don't know. I don't know other than I hire my guys, I let them do the job.
So,
why the word dynamics, and why there was something there that he could not get his hands down in the muck, which I know, and you can tell him right now, he does like coaching a position. He's not getting Elijah Robinson. He's going to be officially announced at Texas A&M today. Make yourself the defensive line.
I thought that too.
Well, his players are asking him.
Yeah, I kind of, you know what? I wouldn't mind it. I kind of would like it. It would be different. It would be weird, but I think it also
he likes doing it.
It would bring a little like if you want it. Okay, so this whole time, right? We've talked about Matt Rule. What one word have we used over and over again? CEO. He's the CEO, and he's been the CEO for 3 years, and he's 19-19. Right? I think maybe he's evaluating himself and he's evaluating the program, and he's realizing that maybe he's got to connect more with his players. Maybe he's got to connect more with the D-line. Maybe he's got to have a football relationship and not a GM relationship with his guys. Right?
Which at heart he probably loves.
Well, but here's the thing though.
He's good. So
I mean,
he is good to the person that is an athlete at Nebraska. I think he's really good for young men, but can he get his relationship with them as people to be a better relationship with them as football players?
Yes. And I think so too, Gary. There's a reason why in the NFL, there's a separation between the coach and the GM, right?
Yeah.
Because the GM is cutting those checks, right? And the GM is the one who's making the not so popular decisions, making the decisions of, all right, we got to let you go, or we're bringing in this new guy. And the coach is there to kind of be the bridge between the front office and the players. And it's like you can't, it's hard to have the coach be the GM, because if the coach is the GM and he's the one making all those tough decisions, it could strain a relationship. I think that's what happened in New England. I think Bill Belichick being the GM, there was some relationship strain between him as the coach and some players, because he was making the unpopular decisions. I think if Matt Rule is thinking about, hey, I want to set, because he brought up Pat Stewart, said there were other dynamics that were going on that didn't allow me to do that. And he immediately brought up the nutrition and Dr. Elza and Pat Stewart and how important Pat Stewart's been.
Circle of influence.
Yes.
In that Rule.
Big time.
Hierarchy.
Big time. And so he referenced Corey Campbell too. He goes, those people were doing that. Maybe now I'm going to go and he's going to let them handle that, and he trusts them to handle that. And he goes in and he makes more of that connection. And I don't want to say separates himself from that kind of inner circle, that the circle that he trusts, but brings himself closer to the players, because I think that's important.
There's also, along the lines, whether it is over the course of your program or the course of a season, the head coach has got to take control. I look at, and it's still early. It's a good bounce back post Kansas State. I think Creighton basketball is taking on the role of Nebraska basketball. Chemistry, connected. Those are two words that have been mentioned the last couple of games. And they played a really good 100 minutes of basketball, and they've blown out two opponents in the Big East. And we don't even know what the Big East is going to be like. They may just have one good team.
Dude,
St. John's ain't got a point guard. But all of a sudden, Creighton is feeling good, and they play tonight against Utah Tech. But a really good basketball coach, top 15 college basketball coach. You might even, with his offensive mind, you put Mac in the top 10. Mac pulled the parking brake on this season. Mac thought that he could turn the program over to the players and let the players figure it out. And at some point, the head coach goes, no, I'm not going to be miserable. And so you take back control of your team and you pull the parking brake, and look what he's done. He's got the best coaching tool out there, the bench. And he has found the right guys. And all of a sudden, Creighton is going to go into Christmas feeling different than they were, when they were going into Hanukkah.
Yep.
Fred Hoiberg is a prime example.
Sure.
Nebraska basketball is 12-0. That is wild to think that they are 12-0. And the guy that runs the program in Lincoln is one of the front runners to be the national coach of the year. But Fred came in, and this was a little bit going back to Iowa State and the dynamic that was played out with the Bulls. Fred let it be more of a player-led team to begin. And he had some knuckleheads, a Mac, an Allen. And finally, at some point a couple of years ago, when he knew that Trev wasn't going to fire him, he took control of his program.
Yeah.
And look at the result. They're 56-25. And I think Rule, I don't think this will ever happen. Trev kind of not only vetted Rule, but he dropped a bunch of knowledge about the observations he had of Nebraska football. Hey, in Nebraska, we don't just blow people out when a new coach gets here.
Yeah.
Okay. There's guys that are GBR for life. Can you just give them a chance? Can you talk to them?
Mm-hmm.
And Rule went with that mindset. Hey, we're dedicated to you guys. We're going to keep you around. If you guys stick around for 2 years, man, I'm going to get you where you want to go in year 2. And it kind of, they got him to a bowl game. Trev probably also was like, hey, you know what? I just, the players. Just let the players kind of, how this is. Let the players, man. Let them run your program. And Rule's like, I got it. I'm brand new here. I don't know this. Hey, you've been around this program now for a bit, so you can see the dynamics. I'll take your advice. Now is this the moment where Rule is like, okay, I got good players. I trust them, but I got to take control of the program because and where I'm leading this is you've seen what their message. So they've changed their messaging, and their messaging needs to be stronger. I know 7-5 is a message, but you have to back up words with actions now. We're past this time of, hey, blow me some stuff. Okay?
Big time.
We need words have to be backed up with actions. So have you noticed the dynamic that has started in 2 weeks? Pound the rock.
Yes.
I never thought that this team in 3 years has been soft. I think he thinks they've been soft. Now, they might be more softer between the ears than they are between the shoulders. but I've never thought, wow, this is a really soft team. I thought when they get squeezed upstairs, it becomes a little bit
big time.
But so if you are saying we are committing to this being a trenches game, we are going to make hires that back up that they are a trenches person, maybe we are seeing the change because there's a sense of urgency, is I'm taking back the program with what I want to do, not with what the Raiolas want to do.
Sir, so, yes, that for sure. Because I was going to say this to you.
Actually, might be a blessing in disguise.
I agree.
The transition here as you go into year 4.
I heard two things that really caught my ear. The one was, I'm not going to hold a guy that doesn't want to be here. I'm not going to hold players that don't want to be here. That was an interesting statement to me in terms of the Raiolas, right? But I want to throw this question back at you. Don't you think that press conference sounded a little bit more similar to a year 1 Matt Rule press conference than it did a year 3 Matt Rule press conference? In the regard that he brought up TO. And he brought up, if you're going to play, if you're going to play at Memorial Stadium, and he brought up the conditions, and he brought up the Big Ten, and he brought up there was a lot more tones about what the program needs to be and how the program needs to be built, as opposed to what the program is.
Ooh, that's good. I want this to be Matt Rule's Nebraska, not just this is Nebraska.
Yes. Oh, that's the vibe I got. I got less of, hey, our running backs are great and our D-lines are awesome and, we have good coaches. Yeah. And I got more of, well, no, this is what we need to do. And this is what Nebraska has to, this is how we have to build it. And this is how we have to play. And, hey, I talked to T.O. and T.O. told me if you're going to play in Lincoln in November, you need a mobile quarterback, right? We heard all the T.O. sayings in year 1. I just got year 1 vibes more from him than I did year 3 vibes. And what was the difference between year 1 and year 3, Gary? Year 1, you didn't have Dylan. Year 3, now you do. Now, I'm not saying that this is an inherently great thing and that, Nebraska is going to, this is,
it's a little bit scary.
Awesome. It's a little scary.
They're walking
into
the great unknown of year 4.
But I'll throw this out to you again. It's one of those things where I think as the Nebraska head coach, I've learned this. There's a tango between your messaging and the fans, right? There's some buzzwords. You got to say certain things. There's a way to connect to the people that you're communicating with, and the fans are incredibly important. But to your point, Matt Rule, to me, kind of, in a way, said, I'm kind of done doing the tango. I'm going to tell you what I think, and I'm going to tell you how it is. And that messaging is what you're alluding to, which is this is his program now.
So
this is no one else's but mine.
Yeah. And I mean, he's been squeezed. And I think it's the reaction to what the fans' reaction is to him.
Big time.
And the media reaction.
Big time. It affects him. It affects him.
Well, it should. I mean, he's human.
Yeah.
He's also in the fishbowl. So he has dove into the fishbowl. And is he going to do what we've seen here in the past? Is it becomes a fight? Okay? Us against the world. Now, it worked for Bo.
Yeah.
It worked. It actually worked for Bo.
It works for Signetti. Signetti's kind of that way.
But it works when you win. When you don't win, it gets thrown back in your face.
Big
so you're taking a risk. You have to have a good feel for yourself. You have to be comfortable with it. Your players, your coaches that you're with. I mean, everybody around you, that you're going to go down this path. I don't think he's ready to go there, but I think he laid out his 26 campaign basically on Friday.
He kind of did.
That's what he
bit.
did.
Yeah.
And 26 is an election year.
Yeah, it is an election year. For an election of confidence is probably what we can title the 2026 season. A vote of confidence.
That's nice.
Or no confidence.
All right. Evan Bland's going to join us in the next hour. We'll ask Evan, does he think that the Texas A&M student that was wearing overalls for $1 million plus on Saturday would have been a better place kicker for Texas A&M than their actual place kicker? And it's too bad that the football season is over in College Station and also at James Madison, because they had great Twitter accounts, especially the Texas A&M police account.
They did, yeah. Yes, the Texas A&M police account was elite.
Who brings eggs to a college football game to throw?
The Colt.
Where do you put the eggs in?
Great question.
Aggies do things a little different.
Puppet eggs.
You know that.
Passing out eggs.
Hey, when you see it explained by a cadet of the Cheers.
Oh, my God. All right. All together now. I saw one of those videos. The Miami Twitter account posted one of those videos. Oh, it's all about.
Don't you miss Kyle Field, Gary?
It's all about.
Kyle Field's great atmosphere, but it's weird, man. I mean, you look in the stands and people are kissing each other.
Do you know
we're talking about a dog gets to sleep in your bed, but you have to sleep on the floor.
Stuff with
he goes
a jar.
to class with you. They're buried behind the scoreboard. Yeah,
Do you know what they call the people at A&M?
Trev's got himself a volleyball championship.
The people who they call the people at A&M who don't participate in all that, they call them 2%ers. Like they label the people who don't do all the weird
I don't think I'll ever understand it because people that go there, it sticks with them. John Oakey, retired news guy here in town, the great John Oakey. He's an Aggie, still wears the ring. Yep. Like the ring is everything.
Oh yeah, the ring's a big deal.
My brother's best friend Travis, he went to A&M. He wears the ring.
The ring is everything.
They're always wearing the ring.
Yeah. All right, again, Evan Bland coming up in the next hour on 1620 The Zone. All right, I'm following along here. So, social media, John Butler has re-engaged with people on social media.
Pavelka's fat uncle, man. He gets people going.
So Terry Braden got hired by USF. So he got hired by Brian Hartline. Let's watch that program. In his bio, it is all about the Chiefs. And then his time at FAU and Bethune, then his high school time.
Mm-hmm.
No reference of where he was last year.
Nope.
So there's a year missing on his bio on the USF website.
Guess he was in Cancun. I guess he had his feet kicked up on the beach.
Can't you just mention that he was the defensive line coach at Nebraska?
That is strange. But also, too, like there weren't a ton of accomplishments or anything like that. Sorry, I'm sorry for laughing, but but the face palm was great there. Well, I mean, you're right. It's It's a little embarrassing, isn't it? Isn't it kind of embarrassing?
Well, I don't know if that's USF or that might be USF.
Oh, you don't think?
But I think you would reference maybe because still you look at somebody's bio and it says they worked at Nebraska. I mean, like okay, worked in the Big Ten. I don't know why you wouldn't just put a line in there. I know.
No, that doesn't.
I know. You know a lot of the Kansas City stuff, rightfully so. That would be near the top, which it is, but no reference to like where we were last year. So you go, okay, final season 2024. What did he do last year? Was he anywhere?
Well, I think what you think they're afraid that like USF like media people would like start looking into, hey, what was the vibe like at Nebraska? Did people like it?
No, I would hope they're good media people, and they ask, okay, the coach didn't get fired at Nebraska, but you did after 1 year. What happened?
Yeah, that'd be a very valid question. I think a very valid question probably to Terry Braden at USF would be, what did you learn? And I would be actually very curious to hear what his answer is.
Hey, aren't they hiring Tim Beck as well?
I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he is the offensive coordinator. All right. Which former Nebraska position coach will be the next to be hired by Brian Hartline?
Do you think they put Tim Beck's Nebraska stuff in his USF?
Well, let me look here. I'm pretty sure they do because he had he's been some places since then, but I'm pretty sure. I mean, his time at Nebraska was pretty good. Yeah. So it does have a reference to Nebraska in here.
That makes sense.
His offense was pretty productive. They averaged 33.5 points a game while he was here. Threw for over 10,000 yards, 86 touchdowns. So I'd put it in there.
I'd put it in there.
And Taylor Martinez.
Let's see Terry Braden's card.
It's kind of odd.
It is odd.
Yeah. All right. Halfway through on a Monday, Evan Bland's going to stop by in a little bit. We'll get back into the playoff because you have many takeaways from the playoffs. We love the sport. Other people at ESPN don't like the sport. But there's a thing about the sport that just hit home what I think Nebraska should do beginning on January 2nd. We're back with more after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, happy holidays, everybody. Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa. As we move into the holiday season here on the Zone, big thanks to all of you that have made 2025 a very enjoyable year as well. More to come. Could be an interesting winter around here once again.
Could be very interesting.
Team in Lincoln is 12-0. The team that played earlier in the day is unbeaten as well. The women.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I was confused. I was like, to who are you referring?
The women. The women are unbeaten.
So we're unfortunately
remain calm and carry on.
Unfortunately, the volleyball team lost, but that was a great graphic that we had going for a while of Nebraska men's basketball, women's basketball, and volleyball all having like a record of like 60-0 or something like that. That was awesome.
Great run by Texas A&M. Am I allowed to say that because Trev is the athletic director?
Well,
they're an historic run of who they beat and how they beat teams, whether reverse sweep, beating Nebraska in Lincoln, and then doing what they did in the NCAA tournament. You could probably say, well, I don't know if they should have been a number 3 seed. Well, they were down 2-0 to Louisville. I mean, that could not have been. But they got hot at the right time in the fastest growing sport. I hope the ratings are good yesterday. Heard there was about 5,000 Nebraska fans there yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
They had 18,000 in the Power and Light District. Still T-Mobile. Is it? I don't know.
I think so. It'll always be the Sprint Center
to Sprint to T-Mobile.
Well, that makes sense.
Next year is at the Alamo Dome. But Texas A&M, what a run. What a team. I mean, I saw this a week ago. Their blocking and the pressure they put on you with their serve. They were the worthy champion. I was already looking at way too early volleyball top 10s.
Okay.
Texas A&M loses quite a bit, but they got a dude at coach, man.
Sure.
He could, I think I could get to like him. He comes across kind of as a Richard, but people like him, but he's perfect for Trev. Nebraska's best recruiting class.
Wow.
They are 4th. But tough to imagine a world in Nebraska volleyball, a program that's lost to 3 straight years to the eventual national champion or in the national championship match. That freshman class could go through Nebraska and not win a national title in 4 years. Riley, Jackson, Murray.
It'd be astonishing.
But they are way too early, preseason 3rd. But Texas A&M celebrates yesterday with a sweep of Kentucky, and Kentucky is the number 1 seed. It's an historic run by A&M volleyball.
And the funny thing is, you talk about Nebraska volleyball, not only have they lost the last 3 years to the eventual national champion, but 2 of those losses have come in 5 sets. And following that, then the eventual national championship kind of runs through and easily wins the national championship. And so you can make the argument that Nebraska volleyball for the last 3 seasons has been the second best team in the country. And that stings. And Ohio State kind of went on a similar run in football where you could have made the argument for 3 straight years they were probably the second best team in the country, and then eventually they broke through. Just Nebraska volleyball.
Yeah, I ain't playing that game, homie. You know, we play that game around here, man. Are they the best 3-9 team in college football? I don't care. You're 3-9. Okay.
Well, I'm not saying
make it to Kansas
that.
City, didn't win a national championship.
I'm not saying that the season is saved and the season is fine and like it was successful in any way.
I got a medal for you out in the lobby.
I'm just saying that you could, deviate that and put that together. That is a take that you can have that is not incorrect.
That's not a take. I'm going to go there. But I got a nice medal for you. I believe it's one of those gold chocolate medals, so you'll be able to enjoy it while you're driving.
I'm
home
not
today.
lowering the standard for Nebraska volleyball in any way, shape, or form. You and I are on the same wavelength in terms of its national championship or bust. But I'm saying you could also look at it and be like, they've been so close the last couple of years. And it'd be very surprising if that group of players could not break through and win one.
When you have the disappointment of this past year that comes up short, then you kind of peel it back and you look and you go, okay, lost to Penn State, then they lost to Texas. And then you go, man, it's been a bit since Nebraska volleyball has won a national championship. And you could make a case that Wisconsin has been the better program in the Big Ten over the last 5 to 7 years. That's when reality kicks in.
Yeah.
But whatever you do, you got this run up to, you can't let that trio and that freshman class walk out the door without the joy of a national championship. the next year at the Alamo Dome. I mean, that fastest growing sport. I can't imagine what kind of records attendance wise will be set. And I hope the TV ratings for yesterday turn out to be okay, like good, like really, really good, because it didn't get as much attention. Maybe it's the SEC fatigue.
How much like promotions and advertising did you really see for the college volleyball national championship?
I mean, we kind of dialed it back a little bit after Texas A&M won here. I mean, I watched Thursday night, but I mean, had more stuff to pay attention to on Sunday than the volleyball. I did watch the last 2 sets.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I hope the TV ratings are good because the attendance is good. They set a record attendance, one of the highest attended championship matches. All right, Evan Bland's going to join us here in a little bit. I did not know this until I saw a graphic over the weekend. Shout out to a school that I almost went to when I was 9 years old. I thought I'm going to go to Grandview when I was growing up in Des Moines. The Grandview Vikings. Lou Yasinich, the head baseball coach, him and my dad were best friends. Yeah. I went to a lot of Grandview bad baseball because my dad would go and scout.
Grandview bad baseball?
Yeah, they weren't great.
Okay, but why was your dad scouting if they were bad at baseball?
Because of who they would be playing.
Oh, they're playing good teams. Okay, that's tough.
So, and he liked going to baseball games. My memory of one of the memories of Grandview is, and it's on the east side of Des Moines. It's not in a great neighborhood, but they've turned into a juggernaut in terms of athletics, from football to wrestling and even baseball. I think softball is pretty good. There's a story of a player, the field, I think the field sits there. I haven't been to Grandview in a long time, but the field sits where beyond right field is a guy's house. And one day we were at the game. I don't know. They were playing some other NAI school. Somebody had a home run into the guy's yard, and the guy finally had enough, came out and shot the right fielder with a pellet gun.
Oh God!
Yeah. In the middle of the game. Like that's one of my memories of Grandview baseball. But
you freaked me out there. You got to lead with he shot him with the pellet gun.
You don't know that at the time.
Yeah, but
when you hear the pop and somebody goes down, you're not thinking, "Oh, that's
Gary.
Oh, that's either
it's a pellet.
Yeah, that's the pellet gun, or that's my BB gun." But but it was a national story. I mean, the guy just walked out of his house.
He got arrested probably. That's assault. He assaulted the guy.
No wonder they were scared in the Sandlot.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
But Grandview football won another NAI national championship over the weekend. I did not know this until I looked it up, and it's been this way for well over a decade. Did you know that the NAIA National Football Championship trophy is named after Coach Osborne?
What? I didn't know.
So Grandview sent, and the only reason I was aware of this is they sent out a graphic celebrating Grandview football winning a national championship. Grandview football, wagon. Ferris State, D2, wagon. But in NAIA, they sent out back-to-back Osborne trophies. And I was like, okay. So, no, it said Dr. Tom.
This is
Osborne trophies. And I was like, what? The NAIA named their championship trophy after Coach Osborne like a decade ago. I didn't know if this was well known.
This is a blog from 2013 on Nebraska's website. It goes, the title is that NAIA renames trophy to honor Osborne. If you ever wondered why Nebraska recruits Kansas City so well in many different sports and wondered no more, Tom Osborne's Nebraska football's legendary coach, former congressman. It gives it the whole thing. And apparently it was a surprise. The surprise announcement made complete sense. Osborne, after all, was a 3-sport student athlete at Hastings College in the same
NAIA power
hometown school that his father and grandfather attended. So, wow. Yeah. This is all the way back in 2013. This is a long article. And then it's an interview. Osborne made a speech, and then it's a bunch of quotes from that speech that he made. So, yeah, this has been a thing for almost over a decade.
They say you learn something new every day. I learned that on Saturday. I also learned on Saturday watching the Miami-Texas A&M game, which I enjoyed that game. Mm-hmm. I know you might say it was bad football.
I did too.
But
it was an entertaining 10-3 game.
Yes. I was on the edge. Bored. I was on the edge of my seat watching that game. I was thoroughly entertained. And Miami, they won a tough game in a tough manner, which the scary thing about Miami, and they still have the Mario Cristobal factor of in-game decisions, they are keeping a lot of locals home. Like
Yeah.
dudes that can play in the state of Miami, the 3-county area, Palm Beach, Broward, and Dade. They're keeping those guys home. So Miami might be starting to turn the corner, and they have a little bit of money. But Pete Thamel earlier today says the likes of Dylan Raiola are going to garner $5 million.
My Lord.
Somebody will. I don't know that it'll be Dylan. And that's
crazy.
$5 million.
That's
$5
wild.
million for a quarterback. But, if you want to play, you got to pay. But in that game, Carson Beck is a $4 million quarterback.
Yeah, he was bad.
At 10 points.
Yeah, he was bad.
Marcel Reed, who has limits, and
clearly
Texas A&M was a byproduct of their schedule. Okay?
Oh,
they were a
you're
byproduct
right.
of their schedule, and they got exposed. And it just shows we need divisions, and we have too big of conferences. But Marcel Reed is highly paid. But what won that game for Miami wasn't their great, well-paid quarterback. It was a trenches game, and more importantly, Miami on the defensive line, Texas A&M could not run the football.
No.
We'd all like to have a Bane. I mean, everybody would like to have a Bane.
We would.
Not
God,
everybody
so
can
good.
go and get a Bane, whether you're recruiting them or buying them. But with a Nebraska angle here, and Nebraska's going to get 2 quarterbacks out of the portal. They might not be the sexiest names,
sure,
but they're going to get 2 quarterbacks out of the portal. And you'll be able to figure out their plan of attack. But I'm looking at expensive quarterbacks this weekend, and that they were not the sole reason why you won. The sole reason why teams were winning is that line of scrimmage in a trenches game. But Miami changed that game, and they've changed their program by their front 4.
Big time.
And Indiana has done the same thing. Indiana's been lucky with Rourke and Mendoza, but Indiana turned it around with the front 4. And all I can think of is, I know you've already been vetting guys and you have a plan. More money trenches, less money quarterback. More money trenches, less money quarterback.
More money trenches. I
think if you
agree.
watch that game, and if you watch the way that college football is going, and you have to have the ability to run the ball at least a little bit before you show off through the air, that game should have just pounded it home. More money trenches, less money quarterback.
Well,
more money trenches, less money quarterback.
I think, look, I'm a firm believer in, like, if you think that you can get an adequate quarterback for a decent amount of money, okay, for like a reasonable amount of money, go ahead and do that. Now, and you can put it on your bingo card, me bringing up Northwestern football, but I've seen way too many teams that actually had good trenches, that actually had a good running back, that actually had a physical defense and a physical ground game. But you had Jack Lausch throwing the ball, or you had Mike Wright throwing the ball, or you had a freshman Ryan Helinski throwing the ball. And it's just like, you can't operate like that. You cannot operate where it's just you are a zero. You are a nothing in the quarterback position. And so I agree with you. I would love for them to take maybe a little bit of that $3.5 million and spread it to a tackle, and spread it to an offensive tackle or a defensive tackle and everything like that. At the same time, though, you got to make sure that you have an above, like a slightly above to good quarterback before we can start operating like that. And if you got, now here's the thing too.
So is Nebraska a quarterback away? Are they a defensive tackle, defensive end, offensive tackle away?
That's a great question. You know the answer. They're an offensive tackle, defensive tackle. They're all that stuff away, right? And so I don't know. Do you want to? I mean, is there a way that you can maybe preview 2026 as, hey, we're going to go ahead and build the trenches heading into 2026 and be maybe lesser at quarterback, and then heading into 2027, you go out and you make the big quarterback spend, and you go ahead and you snap into it, and this is the year that you go and you win. Do you view it that way? Because that's
Nebraska is being forced to go and spend money on a quarterback because of the Nebraska and the comments that they have made. Why is Nebraska not being forced to commit to TJ Lateef and add 2 similar quarterbacks that there is a full-on competition?
I think that would be a totally adequate way of addressing things. It's just, with the schedule that they play in 2026.
So, but when you say that, though, you're telling me that the guy that's going to play at the end of the month is not the guy.
I don't think you can fully know that he's the guy. He's only played 3 games.
You keep saying that it's the schedule. Like, he's not going to be able to handle a schedule. You know what? Nebraska, we for so long, the quarterback has made the world go round. Nebraska will take the next step when the quarterback doesn't make the world go round, and he's just part of the world. He has a seat on the bus.
I agree with that. I don't think you're wrong in that regard, and I don't think you're wrong in saying that Nebraska. I don't think you're wrong in saying
you're going to be the section that's when Nebraska gets 2 portal quarterbacks, which I firmly believe they will.
Sure,
and they're not big names, but they kind of make sense. Don't be that guy that is like, be that guy that goes, okay, see a little plan.
Can I tell you what guy I'm going to be?
Okay.
I'm going to be the guy that says, okay, I see the vision, I see the plan, I appreciate that they have a vision and that they have a plan. It's a bit of a risk. It's a bit of a risk.
Fair. But okay, so let me ask you this about quarterbacks, because I think I know what I have this little hesitation as well. We are approaching this portal season with the fear of Jeff Sims, correct?
Yes, essentially.
Because of the last time we went shopping,
and there's a reason
Jeff Sims fell into our lap.
And there's a reason why when people mention Aiden Childs on Twitter going to Nebraska, one of the things that I saw this comment, someone goes, I get Jeff Sims vibes. So yeah, we have whatever you want to call it, Sims PTSD, PT Sims D, if you will, about what happened the last time they went in a portal in the portal and got a quarterback. And yes, people have PTSD and hesitation of the fact that if Matt Rule has done nothing, it's develop and evaluate and acquire good quarterback play. He developed it. He acquired it through high school. He failed to develop it. He acquired it through the portal. He failed to develop it. The quarterback was the reason they did not have a good 2023. The quarterback and his injury and his mobility and the fact that he didn't fit in the offense was the reason they had a terrible end to 2025.
Hey, this is going to tick people off, and you're going to get angry when I say this. And he's got to be good at his craft. The fact that Latif has been welcomed inside of the circle of players is going to go a long way. And I don't believe that his performance at the end of the month, because I do think he's going to play, has no bearing on what they're going to do, because that would be bad mismanagement, because you should already have a plan regardless.
Yeah.
But you should also probably already know what you have and what you can work with. And when you're talking, they're going to have, we know moving forward, there is an element of a quarterback run game. So the guy that is currently the number 1 does give you that. I don't think December 31st is going to be like, okay, TJ can't do this, we got to go. No, man, you've already have your shopping list. Where I still believe that Nebraska's couple of big targets are not in the portal yet. And they are doing the back channel work when it comes to that position.
Good. Because that's what everybody else is doing. But
that's why I have a GM who's probably been working on it for a while.
Yeah.
Because everybody goes, hey, you call him and go, hey, our guys think, his high school coach calls you and goes, hey, my guy's thinking about getting into the portal. What do you guys think of him?
Gary.
There's evaluation. Like, well, we can't tamper, but you know what? We've looked at his film. We looked at his film the other day, and I was,
let's make one thing very clear. Tampering is a fugazi. Okay. Tampering, the whole word.
You get caught.
No one gets caught.
There's going to be that time that somebody gets caught.
Nobody gets caught. If Nebraska is the poor, you know what, who ends up getting caught, then you know what? Maybe they are snake bitten. Maybe they are cursed. But everybody is tampering. Everybody's doing it. It's not illegal. Okay. There's just literally every single team that is something is going ahead and quote unquote tampering. All right. So they're doing what they're fine.
They're casting a wide net.
Yes.
I did get a little excited. Rocco Beck going in the portal of like winner. Don't need a statue. Okay.
Yeah.
Need a winner. Come from a winning program.
Yeah.
If Indiana, I'm like, oh man, let's see. New Jersey kid, State College, former coach.
If Indiana doesn't get Hoover, then they'll go ahead and they'll get Rocco Beck.
People should be very, very scared
if
John Hoover is waking up in 2026 in Bloomington, Indiana.
Dude,
be very, very afraid.
You've seen the Horned Frogs play this year. He can sling it. he can play. And you put him with that Signetti offense, oof.
Will you make the bet next year then?
I am. I was thinking about
you went
that.
a whole year without paying up your bets. So good luck.
I paid up. I gave you $25 even when I didn't lose a bet.
Oh, you have two major wagers that are out there.
What are my major wagers?
Dinner at the Drover.
Lunch at the Drover.
Oh.
Okay. Now it's gone to dinner because it's past.
Technically,
it
has
lunch grabbed some interest.
And
then the simple one, like, hey, cup of coffee.
Okay, the cup of coffee is ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's literally a coffee shop right there.
So, like, people can't trust rules evaluation of portal quarterbacks because of Jeff Sims. I can't trust you on any betting.
You know, in Matt's defense, he did buy me breakfast, so
I did.
He credit where credit's
Was it a bet?
No,
it's just being nice. Very good breakfast.
I brought it in from McDonald's. It was one of the days you were gone.
Delicious sandwich.
He was going to be my co-host.
Did you get your Christmas? Do they still give out I used to get Christmas checks. Like they were gift certificates, but they know from McDonald's when I was a kid.
No, really?
Yeah.
No, they didn't. They didn't give me a Christmas check. But I did tell you not on air, but I told you I was eating McDonald's 5 times a week for the Monopoly thing. And you were like, you are a psycho. But I got a free Peacock subscription, and I have 25% off at Fanatics, and I'm buying my little cousin Levon a gift, and I'm using the 25% off from Fanatics.
All right, so being fat works.
Exactly.
And that's the moral of the story.
Yes, it does. I want fat men. Get them on my team. Get them on my. You want the fat men too? You're telling me that you don't want any good quarterbacks. You just want all the fat guys.
I want the thick Sixers.
You guys, and I are on the same level. We're speaking the same language.
There's a difference between being fat and being thick.
And being husky.
All right. I can't have, you can't be Finch from Wildcats.
You cannot.
Okay. All right.
Cannot.
Put him.
But you wanted to
Vita
be from Cheers. Well, geez, what's his name?
Norm,
yeah.
Rest in peace, George Wendt.
I love George.
Of all days, after the Bears get a big victory, you throw Norm under the bus.
I'm saying he's husky. He's husky.
He's not playing defensive tackle. He's playing the keeper of the bar stool.
He's
not
who
husky
is playing
anymore.
defensive tackle though? Andrew Billings, man. Big Bill, 97. Talk about a fat man in the middle. Love 97. Spice Adams was at the game too. Shout out fat men who played for the Bears. He's very skinny now though. He
Shout out
lost
obesity.
A lot of weight.
Attracted to fat men. Okay.
I'm attracted to fat men in the football
Miami
field.
got good news again this morning. Mark Fletcher, their running back, is coming back for 2026.
He was awesome.
Yep. Maybe this is the time. Miami, Ohio State will discuss. Was that a pass interference call in the end zone in the Fiesta Bowl?
Shout out Big 12 refs.
Oh,
they were doing it back then.
Guy that had a local connection was officiating in that game. Why is it always guys from Nebraska that were officiating in the Big 8 or Big 12 are involved in controversy?
Was it Higgins?
Thank God Ken Marr is doing a hell of a job as one of the lead Big 12 guys.
Was it the guy that brings you our lineup every single day?
No.
Oh, okay.
He's basketball.
No, yeah.
It's football. Basketball.
Yeah.
All right. Evan Bland still to come in the hour on 1620 The Zone. All right, Evan Bland's going to stop by here in just a moment. On Barricade Day in Nebraska, I'm waiting for the governor to sign a proclamation that on this day, the 22nd of December, everybody be like Barricade. Whatever you're doing, if you're still in your office, complete a triple-double.
Can we go ahead and have him, make him an admiral in the Nebraska Navy?
Now, you know what? He can be mentioned with the likes of Oscar Robertson and Magic Johnson for having triple-doubles. That is a very elite company. You can't just,
Is it elite company because you're in that company?
Is it at least up for discussion?
Nope.
It's got to be up for discussion.
What if they win a tournament game?
I'm not sure. I think you have to be either from Nebraska or born in the United States.
You think it's better it's more honorable for Barricade to be the honorary admiral of the Nebraska Navy as opposed to being mentioned with the third greatest point guard of all time?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how he rolls, but it's a special deal. You get a plaque.
Do you have your plaque? Where's your plaque at?
I believe it's in one of the storage units that I forgot to pay the bill on. So if somebody owns it, if you're in our listening audience, please let me know. I might buy it back.
What an honor. What a prestigious award that you clearly were given.
I was in transition of moving.
Yeah. It seems like you really cared about that thing.
Well, I mean, I cared about it. I'm sure I could get another one.
You should ask. You know people. You're connected.
You know the gov.
I don't want to ask because
you know the gov. You know Jim.
They'll be like, well, we've now given it out to 6,000 people.
Well, Jordy Ball is one of them.
Yeah. One of the biggest questions about college football this year that is the biggest mystery. You know what that is?
The biggest mystery. No.
What has happened to Ryan Williams at Alabama?
That is a
Do you think he'll be in the portal?
Probably.
Is he, he's like, what? Is he still 17?
He's a sophomore.
Well, I know, but is he like, he's like 16 last year catching passes? Ryan Williams has disappeared for Alabama. All I hear about Ryan Williams is drops.
There it is.
He's got double-figure drops. Dropped a key one early in that Alabama game before takes exposed took over and let everybody know that there were some bad Alabama takes early in the game before they went on a 34-7 run. But Ryan Williams just falling off the map because it was wait till the draft year of Ryan Williams and Jeremiah Smith. And now Ryan Williams is he's not even like their number one option in the passing game at Alabama.
It's Jeremy Bernard is their number one. And then they got the Horton guy who
got the big tight end,
had 3 touchdowns. I mean, they rather throw the ball to Jam Miller than go ahead and give it to
weird.
I know, very weird. He's 18 still. He was born in 2007.
Yeah.
That is wild.
That was a wild
football
season.
He's a guy too where we're now in this day and age of, the NIL and the money and the endorsements and the kids becoming very famous very quickly. He was on the cover of the NCAA football game, right? He did that shoot, like the photo shoot, and he only had 800 yards receiving in his freshman year, right? I wonder if that's a factor as well of just the pressure and the eyes and the microscope being on you. And then now you're getting compensated on top of that. Because he is an elite athlete and a special player. But the most basic thing is to catch the football. And you look up Ryan Williams, and if you put in a space bar, what comes up is stats. And then right under that is drops. That's what he's known for. He's known for dropping the football this season.
Yeah, I know that he had a rough year. I didn't realize he had that many drops until Fowler referenced it after, a second quarter drop the other night. But him falling off the map in college football is one of the big mysteries.
Like Nelson Aguilar.
Evan Bland from the World Herald, not a mystery. We'll pepper him with questions like we play pepper or they used to in baseball on 1620 The Zone. All right, let's welcome our good friend from the Omaha World Herald, Evan Bland. Happy holidays to you and your wonderful family. Good morning.
Morning, guys. Happy holidays.
It's back to normal where beat writers are away from the family for the majority of the holidays because they're at a bull site. So enjoy Vegas.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I don't mind the whole setup. Get to go out on the 26th and hang out, watch some practice for a few days, see what Vegas is all about, and then the game on the 31st. Like that's a little bit better than maybe the pinstripe setup and what some of these bowls could be. So no complaints on this end.
So watching practice, we'll get to see a couple of new guys that are working with the offensive line. There is about a $700,000 bump in terms of financial investment on headsets before you ever get into the portal to make investments on helmets. What does it say to you that Rule, in a quick 3 weeks, has made this transition that they are spending heavily on the guys that are coaching the offensive line?
Well, I think in all the talk about how this is not a program reset going into year 4, it does feel like a positional reset going into year 4 for all those reasons that you laid out. I mean, you bring in a guy like Jeep Wade, and we've heard from a couple linemen about how different some of those techniques are. This is more of I think Tyler Knack called it more of a universal style, where it's not just about your individual technique, but kind of how it fits into the greater context of the unit. And there's some different things that they emphasize differently. And, he's an accomplished recruiter. Like you think Donovan Raiola, he brought some talent to campus. He didn't have nearly the track record when he got to Nebraska that Jeep Wade and Lonnie Teasley have. So I'm curious to see how that translates, and you combine their track records and their backgrounds with Nebraska and the Rev Share era. I think that's fascinating to watch. But certainly what Jeep Wade did at Georgia Tech, limiting sacks and just the way that he went about things is different, I think, than what Nebraska had with Raiola. And then Teasley being the run game coordinator, and he had his own position group at South Carolina to some success as well. And so, it's kind of reminiscent a little bit of what they have been doing on defense, where you have kind of these overlaps where you've got 2 or 3 coaches that are able to sort of check each other and share areas of expertise. Now you're seeing that on the offensive line, and it'll be an interesting month, I think, because you look at that position group, and there are a lot of players now that have been in the program for multiple years, and guys that we've heard a lot about, we haven't really seen on the field much. So what does bringing in 2 different position coaches with some different technique styles and some different approaches, what can that do this month? What can that do in the spring? It's pretty clear Nebraska felt they needed to reset that position. They have done that. And to me, that's still one of the more interesting storylines the rest of this month through the bowl game, is maybe who emerges and how different that group could look even into the kickoff against Utah on the 31st.
Outside of the quarterback, what do you think is the most intriguing storyline about the Utah game?
For the bowl game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is more about like the guys who are here than it is like setting up for the portal. And so I keep thinking back to the pinstripe last year, and like that was the coming out game for Donovan Jones, for Luke Lindenmeyer, for Vincent Shavers. And so like I just try to look at the roster now and say, well, who could that be? And certainly that could be TJ Lateef having a good game, but I think obviously running back is another spot where you look at and you say, for the first time, like Emmett Johnson's not out there to gobble up the lion's share of these carries. So what does Isaiah Mosey look like? Who by the way, is still less than a year into his transition from a full-time wide receiver. What can Mekhi Nelson do? Can Quentin Ives be that short yardage third down guy that Nebraska's envisioned? Kenneth Williams, he hasn't really had much of a chance, certainly not in meaningful moments in a game. Like we've seen what he can do as a return specialist. What does he look like? So that's another guy. I look at a guy like Tyler Knack at guard. Like he's going to be a senior next year. Is he ready to be a starter? Can he be one of the senior leaders in that group? Like going up against his old team for a couple of hours in Las Vegas, I think could be telling in that regard. And then the other thing that's really interesting to me too is, we saw what Nebraska's defensive front looked like down the stretch against Penn State and Iowa, with miscommunications, lack of effort at times, being physically, dominated at different points. And so what does that same group look like with a different defensive coordinator, a guy in Phil Snow who's known for motivating guys, getting them fired up, who emphasizes guys knowing where they are, things just real simple, basic, fundamental things like that. Like, can this Nebraska front look demonstratively different than it did the last 2 games? If it can, I think that suggests that there is talent there and that maybe coaching was a big part of that. If not, then I think that underscores the urgency that Nebraska is going to have going into the portal and trying to shore that thing up for next year.
Evan Bland of the World Herald joining us. There is the fresh start. I think there's going to be some offensive linemen, some defensive linemen, maybe an edge rusher that with a new voice and eyeballs, they might be the Emmett Johnson of 2026 that all of a sudden they pop because there's somebody new that is getting to interact with him. Then there's the fresh start of guys that are going into the portal. Maverick Noonan announced it last night. He was injured, didn't play much at Nebraska. I hope he finds a good spot because I think Maverick can play. But Malcolm Hartzog, Evan, here's a guy, because it's an interesting discussion about Malcolm and the impact and the sting of this portal entry. 36 games he played. He started 32 games. We have a soft spot in our heart for him because he's a broadcasting major. But you would be playing, your third defensive coordinator in 3 years. You're looking for a fresh start with a year of eligibility left. How would you sum up Malcolm Hartzog's career at Nebraska?
I think way back to his recruiting story with that Eric Chenander once told about how he was down in Mississippi looking for some other talent and just kind of came across people in the area who had said, "Have you heard about Malcolm Hartzog? He's this undersized kid in a small town who's making plays all over." And that was Nebraska's in, and he ends up choosing him, and he played right away. To your point, he came in and even though he was a little bit undersized, he always found a way to stay on the field, and he kind of did what Nebraska needed him to do, whether that was to play corner or kind of a slot safety or true safety, did a little bit of returning. He was somebody who went through a heck of a transition at a program that was spinning its wheels early on and was awfully reliable. And he was a quieter guy, didn't do a ton of media interviews or things, but he just went out and did his job. I think fans will remember him for his interception against Cincinnati this year that sealed that game. And I remember him coming off the field afterward, and he had some great ups anyway, and he was just leaping up and high-fiving fans 2 feet off the ground. And so that was a pretty cool moment for him. And he's going in the portal because the guy who was his DB's coach, John Butler, was let go. And he would have had to learn a new system with 1 year to go. Would have been done if not for the injury, but he was able to redshirt, and so he gets 1 year somewhere else. And so you wish a guy like that well, that maybe a year in a different system will continue to elevate his game and give him a chance at a professional career. In some ways, it's kind of a shame that he won't get that senior day moment and that acknowledgement from the fans, because he has put in the time and been around this program for a long time. I think probably ultimately the silver lining for Nebraska is that they can continue with this youth movement. Deshaun Singleton's done, Sierra Wright is moving on. And so you're kind of looking at that next wave in the secondary, whether that's the guys who are already on the roster or maybe whatever they end up adding to the portal. This adds to that reset or that reboot at that position. But I think Malcolm Hartzog's maybe one of those handful of guys who moves on and could have some pretty solid success elsewhere. And I think a lot of people will probably follow what he ends up doing.
Obviously, Evan, progression isn't linear, right? It's not a straight line in terms of guys just getting better. But us in the media who, follow the team and write about the team and talk about the team, we all have kind of projections we make for players and, order to say, okay, this is how much better I think they might get. Do you think overall that what you projected players to be, were those results of what they actually were adequate to what you thought in terms of player development, or inadequate in terms of player development overall?
I think you have specific examples of guys that have developed well. I don't know that I would say universally that Nebraska has developed guys at the level that you've seen them, that you've seen Matt Rule's staff do at Temple and at Baylor. I don't know that, like, you just kind of go position by position. I don't know that, the offensive line as a position group has gotten a ton better these last few years. There are individual examples of guys who've gotten better. I think Henry Lutovsky's gotten better, and a year ago, Bryce Benhart, I think, got better as he finished out his career. But generally, it doesn't seem like a lot of those young guys have come along to the point to where they're ready to contribute. Offensive or defensive line, I think kind of the same thing. You can point to guys like Nash and Ty who got better, but I don't know that a lot of the other sort of role players in that group necessarily have. Receiver, kind of the same thing. Like, did Dane Key live up to what Nebraska envisioned for him? I don't know. Maybe not. Isaiah Hunter probably did. He probably exceeded expectations a little bit there. So, yeah, I think that's probably an area that you need to continue to look at a little bit. But I think it's also true that how we judge development maybe is changing, right? Like, it's no longer, hey, here's your recruiting class, and then 4 years later, all those guys are still here, and what have they done, and what do they look like? It's guys who are now here for a year or two, or maybe they start their career in Nebraska and they leave right before the fruits of that work are shown. So I think part of that plays into it. And then, you're always still too you have to look at kind of the context. Like, what were the initial expectations? Like, if Dylan Raiola were a 3-star quarterback who came in and he's leaving now, you'd say, he did pretty well. But because he was a 5-star and a legacy, and that was the bar that was set, then it didn't live up to what people thought. And so maybe your gut feeling for how he developed is different because of the star rating that he had coming in. So I would say that that's probably an area that Nebraska can still make some pretty significant strides forward in. I think that's part of the reason that they're making the staff changes that they are at this point.
Do you think they'll look different elements on defense at the end of the month in Vegas?
Maybe a couple. Maybe you're not afraid to be a little more aggressive with where you take some chances. I mean, it's Utah's not a game or an opponent where you can blitz a ton because they're not going to be passing a ton. So I suppose you can take some more chances just in terms of how you stack the box and try to stop the run. But I don't get the sense hearing from Phil Snow and some of these guys the last couple of weeks that this is going to be a big overhaul. I think that's going to come after the bowl game when Rob Orich takes over fully and starts implementing that system, and the teaching begins on that front. Like, right now, he's offering pointers and little bits of insight sort of as an observer, but he'll take that thing over down the stretch. I think Phil Snow will probably have a few things in his bag, and this is, for all intents and purposes, the last game he's ever going to coordinate after making a career out of it. So, yeah, I think he'll probably bring something. I think his players will probably want to do something, and just the nature of the game itself. Like, this isn't a pivotal Big Ten game. This is an exhibition where you're going to be okay making taking a risk here or there, or gambling on a thing or two. So yeah, probably a couple things, but I would also say I don't know that, again, that Utah's the type of team that you try to get very exotic against. I think it's a game really more about, like, toughness and being assignment sound. And, like, if you do those things, I think that gets that team and this fan base more excited than if you bring a well-timed corner blitz.
Evan, as always, we appreciate it. Thank you for all of your help here in 2025. Have a wonderful holiday. Safe trip out to Vegas, and we'll talk to you after the first of the year when the month of January will be interesting around here.
Sure will. Appreciate it, guys.
That's Evan Bland from the Omaha World Herald. So here's how I would sum up Malcolm Hartzog's career.
Okay.
The last series against Cincinnati.
Yeah, I think that is incredibly accurate. I know exactly what you're saying.
So remember that final drive by Cincinnati? Sorsby's leading a comeback. Hartzog gets burned early in the series, but the series ends with him making a great athletic play, a one-handed snare of an interception in the end zone on a ball that's underthrown to salt the victory. That's Malcolm Hartzog's career at Nebraska. They didn't know what to do with him. He bounced from safety to cornerback. He got picked on because of his size. Then he'd make a big play. I don't think he was ever at the level that he was as a freshman. He had a game on a Saturday night against Indiana when Mickey was the interim that Malcolm Hartzog was like, that's what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
And he just rode the roller coaster after that. And no greater example than that last drive against Cincinnati.
It's funny you say that because my immediate thought, and I had a conversation with someone about this, was I've never really seen a guy who came out of the field freshman year, played 30 plus games in the Big Ten or in the Power Four level, and then never really got that much better after that. Like he never took that big jump. He never like graduated to the next level. He kind of just was the same player he was when he first played against Oklahoma than he was when he played with Cincinnati.
Yep. You could also say the USC game 2 years ago is a prime example of the Malcolm Hartzog career. All right, last hour is upcoming as we're now an hour removed from Bear K's triple double last night, triple Bear K. Wonder how much he made for getting a triple double.
You think there's incentives in his contract?
There should be.
No, this ain't an NBA contract.
Hour number 4 coming next.
Hey, enter at 1620thezone.com for a chance to win tickets to the Rascal Flatts Show. Life is a Highway tour with special guests Lauren Elena and Chris Lane, Saturday, January 24th at the CHI Health Center. This is a banger, by the way. I got whammed. Yeah. Have you been whammed yet?
No. There were 25 people that started. We're down to 4.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I got whammed at the Brazen Head. I was having fish and chips for lunch, and it just and I was like, whoa, oh my God, this happens to people. I couldn't believe it. I was like, I can't believe this
evil.
This occurred to me. Mm-hmm. And then I haven't heard Last Christmas since then. I have not been whammed again. It's a very niche game that I'm now realizing since I've been whammed that honestly is kind of genius. So congrats to you.
Yeah, I've done a good job of avoiding Christmas music. It's not easy because we have a Christmas station in the building that plays like that song. I know shows up a lot.
At least 27 times.
Yeah.
Well, do you avoid certain stores? Like, are you avoiding Kohl's or Marshall's or?
No, I got to take my chances. I'm not gonna.
Well, that's part of the game.
Just because I'm in a competition, I'm not gonna close down my life. All right, I got to live the life.
Well, do you really want to win Whamageddon if you're not willing to close down your life to win Whamageddon?
Yeah, you know what? You take chances. Everything's about taking risks, man.
What do you get if you
I'm
win?
okay.
Yeah, what do you get? Is there a buy-in? Is this like fantasy football?
We have a trophy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
I like this.
We have a trophy, and then because it's just a joke, you will get a fruitcake. Now, the problem is that fruitcake was purchased about 6-7 years ago, and it's just passed around.
Oh, so it's ripe and ready.
God bless the U.S. Postal Service. They have to deliver that.
Does it say fragile, or does it say it's alive?
Biohazard.
Yeah, I was about to say
it's like those
7-year-old fruitcake. That crap's got a smell.
Well,
like roses.
It hasn't been opened.
Well,
yeah.
Okay. Wow.
But it's I saw it last year at a buddy's house who had won. And it's a rock.
Oh, it's got to be. Yeah.
A rock.
And I can guarantee you I'll never play it here because why? My disdain for that song.
Yes.
So you're safe here. 6 to 10.
Whoa, I just looked at a mock draft. Jeremiah Love to Kansas City, number 12.
There you go.
There you go. That'll warm your cockles.
Where to the league office will DeKalen Zacharias Metcalf go?
Heavily fined and suspended for a game.
So people are wondering why he couldn't have been ejected yesterday.
That's a good name.
CBS Well, he didn't like it. He said that's why the guy was holding a number 4 jersey. And Metcalf apparently said to somebody on the Steelers sideline, that's why he went up and grabbed him. Now, is it a punch? It's kind of a swing, but you can't put your hands on fans.
There you go.
So he's going to be in trouble. People are asking, Andrew asked why he was not ejected. There was no flag on the field, so New York they couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
But now New York will do something, as he's going to be fined and he's going to be suspended. And
he'll be suspended for a game.
And we got
if we're suspending guys for spitting on dudes, in the game.
This is a fan. You can't put your hands on a fan.
No, I know.
I think this is longer than a game.
Oh, you think this is?
I think this is probably shut him down for the rest of the regular season. It's a fan. It wasn't the fan coming at you. You went and grabbed.
I don't disagree with you, man. You
can't touch the fan. You can't.
I couldn't agree more.
Okay.
I'm telling you what I expect it to be. I probably expect it to be like a game. Okay.
Yeah.
But if they were to say, hey, you're done for the next 2 games and we're taking both your game checks, I'd be like, okay, cool.
Well, the other part is this happened during the game.
I know.
Away from the action.
And by the way, the Steelers are in a race to clinch a playoff spot. Like they are legitimately fighting and competing to get into the playoffs. They need DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf is a very important part of that team, especially when they're trying to stretch the ball down the field. Like you can't do that, dummy. Like why? I mean, seriously, it's
you're walking
move.
off the field or before the game or something. But that was in the middle of the game. Like and if the CBS cameras don't catch it.
Yeah, but there's no way that they don't catch. I mean, there's got to be somebody looking and being like, "Why is DK Metcalf talking crap right now to a fan in blue hair?" Which was the best part of it all. Yeah. Was that he was wearing the blue wig.
Romo even made a noise. He's like, "Oh,
yeah." Well, dude, Tom Brady's now doing that. So Christian Watson got free
Yeah.
on a nice little crossing route, which they killed the Bears in Lambeau, but they didn't use it against them in Soldier Field. And Watson does the crossing route and nobody picks him up. And before the ball's even out of their hands, Brady goes up, like he like moaned because like there was a bust in coverage. But Malik Willis did not see it. What a shame!
Shock.
What a shame!
Shock.
Oh,
All right. Creighton basketball tonight, their final game before Christmas. So maybe it'll be a sluggish affair. Don't know if anybody will have a triple-double. I mean, let Bear K have his moment. I'm sure that he is at Virginia's Cafe right now,
probably
enjoying a triple double breakfast.
On the
Probably got
house.
some
You
eggs,
think-
some toast.
You think he's a Virginia's or a Penelope's guy?
He's Virginia's Cafe.
Oh, he is.
Bear K is a man of the people. All right. Bear K he's with the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait to take you to Sanders Cafe over on Toohey Avenue in Skokie, Illinois. We're hanging
Sanders.
out.
I can't wait to go back to Denny's on Christmas Eve on 84th Street. So Creighton basketball tonight. They play Utah Tech.
Yeah.
Um,
Go Trailblazers.
19.5 point favorite. The game starts at 7. We got the pre, the play, and the post all right here on the zone. The Big East is kind of interesting. So Creighton is off to a 2-0 start. They've bludgeoned the team from Cincinnati and the team from Milwaukee. Appears that they might be turning the corner. But at some point, you just say, hey, I'd like to win some basketball games. And Creighton's at the point in the Big East without a resume from the non-con. They just got to keep stacking victories.
Yeah.
Because the Big East isn't going to help them. But the Big East is kind of interesting. All about, some we were talking earlier about injuries and luck. So Ball didn't play yesterday for UConn. They still won by 18 in Chicago against DePaul. But injuries creep up. Butler had a significant injury. You also have the fact that St. John's forgot to recruit a point guard.
Yeah.
So they are in trouble at the position. Whether you say, hey, this is positionless basketball or not, you still need somebody to orchestrate the offense. And St. John's doesn't have that. So St. John's is kind of like
they're teetering a little bit. I mean, they haven't.
So we might be down to just 1.5 really good teams in the Big East.
Okay,
because it's the fifth. It's by far of the Power 5 basketball conference. The Big East is last. So Creighton's road is they just got to win games. They got to win games. They probably need to go 3-1 against UConn and St. John's and not lose to the bottom half. But the other storyline of the Big East, and I listen to him a lot, and he's got a special connection with Mac, and I think he enjoys from his time at Providence and Georgetown, Creighton basketball and the people here. I want to like Ed Cooley, but man, there are times where he makes it hard to like him and his actions, and you go, what in the... And Georgetown fans might feel the same way. There was nobody at their game the other day, and they're actually better than they've been. Like Georgetown basketball looks legit.
It's actually trending in the right direction and where they're serviceable on the basketball court.
But people aren't going to their games. And now why would you go to their games when a guy in a fit of rage, and I don't know what he was thinking.
What a dummy.
He throws a water bottle in the air. He heaved it at the end of the game. And you don't just do that, oh man, that's a one-off. You've done that before. And, and then unfortunately hit somebody he knew, and he apologized right away. But what? And he's been suspended, so Georgetown plays tonight, so he won't be on the sidelines. What are we doing? What are we doing that we grab a water bottle and your first thing is to chuck it into the stands?
So
you're probably lucky you're only suspended for one game. But again, I want to like Ed Cooley, but there are a lot of things that Ed Cooley does that I'm like, I don't think it's going to work.
It hit.
I don't know what that was yesterday. It hit on Saturday.
It hit a mother and her child.
Yeah, and Cooley said he knows him. Which is even worse.
It is even worse.
But what in your mind? You just
I don't know.
Pick
You're
up a water ball and chuck it.
It's just unprofessional.
You're not at practice where you're throwing that water bottle against a wall because your team ran the wrong set and guys went the wrong way.
Yeah.
You picked up a water bottle at the end of the game and you threw it into the stands. Okay.
Yeah, we called DK Metcalf being just. Why did he do that? Why did he hit a fan? Because he's a dummy. Because I was stupid. Okay. Why did Ed Cooley throw a water bottle in the stands? It's the same answer, Derry. He's a dummy. It was a dumb thing to do.
I'm surprised he's only suspended for one game.
You got it. I am. I probably. I mean, I don't know what the. Okay, so there's always like we have courtside seats, right? And we have people who sit right behind the bench, and we have hecklers and all those things. But there's always been an invisible wall between the players on the court, the coaches on the court, and the fans. And the number one rule has always been don't cross that wall. Okay. And anytime players cross that wall, especially nowadays, it ends up on, social media and it's a big deal and everything like that. There just hasn't really been like a massive precedent in terms of people who are dumb enough to actually like physically.
Yeah, he wasn't throwing at anybody in particular. He was angry. So he threw, his first thing was to grab the water bottle and throw it into the stands. Now, if he would have just picked up the water bottle and thrown it straight down on the floor, yeah, we've seen that happen before. But his first action was to turn and chuck it into the stands. Yeah. And there wasn't anybody, and he was more angry at his team losing, not at a fan getting on him. So this is a little bit different.
It's stupid. It's not. But what I was trying to say is that like there are just very few people who make stupid enough decisions like that to physically affect fans on the court, right? Or that are on the court and on the field, right? I don't know what the proper punishment is. I'll just shake my head and say, yeah, you just suspend him because it's dumb and it's stupid.
What if you would have done that, when he's gone back to Providence and gets a little dicey? I mean, you do that in Providence, the Dunk, the place that formerly was known as the Dunk. Boy, there are going to be some knuckles thrown. I mean, there'll be people coming out of the stands because they're so angry at Cooley, but it seemed kind of like out of character, but you don't think like that's not the first time you've done that.
God, no.
Okay.
God, no.
He threw it into the stand.
If you're doing it with a bunch of people watching you, what are you doing it when nobody's watching you?
How about the Washington Post doesn't cover Georgetown home basketball games?
That's wild.
And so there was no mention of it in the game story because the game story was like AI generated.
Jesus.
And it wasn't brought to light by the Washington Post until yesterday.
It was, I'm reading, it's bad when you're reading the CNN article on it. When it's
there was nobody there from the Post. That kind of shows you where Georgetown, a little bit of that business of lack of beat writers, but also the Post not covering Georgetown basketball.
Is there?
Tell that to Fred Brown and David Wingate.
I think
Patrick Ewing, Michael Graham.
I think ESPN removed
Allen Iverson,
their radio station in DC. Pretty sure ESPN doesn't have a DC radio signal anymore either. Like I think
they don't have the sports junkies anymore?
Yeah, I know
they're not ESPN. That's not an ESPN station.
Right. I think do they only have one sport radio station over in Washington, D.C. right now?
No, they have two.
They have two? Okay. I didn't know. But I remember when they removed the ESPN signal, it was a really big deal. But yeah, it was stupid from Ed Cooley, even stupider from DK Metcalf. If I was a Pittsburgh Steelers fan and I'm fighting to win the AFC North right now, and I am trying to win my first playoff game in years and years and years, and you're dumb enough to go to the stands and put your hands on a fan. What are you doing? Like something, man. So what? He called you. He hurt your feelings. There are things bigger than your feelings being hurt. You have an obligation. You're getting paid millions of dollars. You have a team that is counting on you. But you go to the stands and you hit a fan.
Has 19 straight years of winning football. Steelers are in a little purgatory.
Oh, they've been in it.
They're going to win, but they're not going to win like the Steelers have won.
They're kind of in the NFL's edition of no man's land in terms of you're not bad enough to get good players and you're not good enough to actually beat good teams.
One other thing that happened over the weekend is we were talking about the Ed Cooleys and the DK Metcalfs again. I found a joy in sports.
The Bears?
No, these internet D-bags that think they can box and they get knocked out. I loved it. You know what? First of all, it was an atrocious broadcast on Netflix.
It didn't go well.
It was a shame that was on there because there were a lot of people that got fooled again.
Yeah.
Okay. Because there are fools everywhere and fools fall for things. And so people fall to watch this garbage that ruins the sport. And I don't blame Joshua for fighting. No. He knew it was going to be easy. He took a nice little payday, got in the ring and pummeled this joke. And you know what? If I'm in the game of boxing, I hate this because it gets more attention than real matches, real pound for pound boxers. But I liked it so much. Again, the broadcast was brutal.
Yeah.
Broadcast was really, really brutal. And they got what they deserved at Netflix, putting this garbage on because the undercard wasn't very good. Mm-mm. And then, of course, the only good part was that Joshua absolutely destroyed Jake Paul. And you know what the first sign was? That man in the ring is not a boxer.
What is that?
He reacted like a human when he got hit. Humans react differently when you get punched compared to how boxers react when you get punched.
Totally accurate. He flinched, right? He showed that he was hurt. How many times have you seen, I think Bud's done it before, where Bud gets hit and Bud smiles? or Bud, kind of sticks his tongue out or like nods his head and stuff like that. You're totally right. Now, I will say this. I have respect for Jake Paul. I have respect in the fact that he stepped in with a former world champion, former Olympic champion, 6'6", 250-pound guy in Anthony Joshua. I have respect.
You do it for charity?
I don't think he did. I think he did it for a payday. But I have respect in the fact that he actually stepped in the ring with that behemoth of a man and took a beating. At the same time, it should never this event, and I said it over.
I thought
and
it was
over.
great. I was laughing. I thought it was awesome.
I said it over and
he
over.
Couldn't keep punching him enough.
No, I said it over and over again too. Though it's a joke that this is a big deal, and this is a joke that this is like the biggest thing in boxing.
You know
because
why?
There's so many better boxers, and it's ruining.
You know why this happens?
Why?
Because there are fools born on every corner.
Okay,
and there are fools that will pay to watch this. And you know what? I can't help you. I can't help you. But the sport, it sucks for a guy like Bud. Okay?
It does suck for a guy like Bud.
Who said yesterday that Bud's retirement had been like years in the making. Well, yeah, everybody's gonna retire.
It's true.
This but probably got as much attention nationally as Crawford Alvarez.
It did.
Close.
It did. Here's the problem,
but
though, Gary.
Y'all fools. Y'all fools. Keep doing it. You know what? Because people will keep selling to you because there's fools out there that will keep consuming it.
In my opinion, the reason why this happened is that boxing got corrupted and stopped putting the best product on television that they possibly could week in and week out. And you had kids my age, right, who did not grow up in that golden age of boxing where they could actually enjoy what the sweet science is. And instead, because there were people who didn't watch that and didn't grow up loving boxing like I did, what did they watch? They watched World Star. They watch the TMZ fight videos. They watch the human cockfighting. They love the rough and rowdy for Barstool Sports. So instead of because boxing couldn't
I would take tough man competition back. I did thoroughly enjoy like a Kai-Fi fight night and tough man competition in Pershing Auditorium.
Maybe like once in a while, sure. But I'm talking about like consistently on social media and then people paying for it. But you went from like boxing could not get their heads out of their trunks and actually like bring in a new generation of fan. And so there's all these young people who just love to see non-trained people just get beat up.
It's so
right.
sad
And that's why
it's so sad that the sport.
Yeah, that's what it's turned into.
This is the sport. And I don't think the sport's going to be able to reclaim its glory.
Well,
not even close. Like just at the lower levels, Golden Gloves used to be a big deal. I mean, let's be honest. If Bud Crawford was not from Omaha, what would boxing be like in this town right now?
I could say without a doubt, not as big.
Yeah,
not as big.
Not even close.
But it's one of those things too, where it's just like Dana and TKO tried with Canelo and Bud to put on that big match and build up an undercard and try and get boxing back to the top. And what have they done since Bud versus Canelo? Have they announced that they're going to do a new event? Have they announced another big title fight? Have they announced anything?
The start of the road back in boxing is an American heavyweight.
I agree with that. I think that's
American dynamic, personality-driven, excellence in the ring, American heavyweight.
I think that's a start, and I think another step too is just get one belt. Okay, we got to get boxing down to one belt, and also too, and there are going to be some boxing people out there who are going to roll their eyes and tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. But there's a lot of weight classes in boxing, right? Junior welterweight, super welterweight, light heavyweight.
Yeah.
You got to probably, kind of probably size down some of the weight divisions you have in boxing and to make it a little bit, I'm not saying fully like the UFC, but probably more similar where you have bantamweight, lightweight, featherweight, strawweight, heavyweight, light heavyweight, because there's too much going on.
Yeah.
There's 18 belts and 17 different weight classes.
But we will flock to go watch Netflix. But you know what? More internet D-bags. You want to get in the ring with real boxers? Go for it. Go for it, baby.
The Tate one was funny to watch.
Yeah.
He got his ass kicked. And he's a former world kickboxing champion.
Oh, and we take masculine advice from him. Maybe you ought to take your own advice. Okay? It was a good day if you're like me. Paul and Tate lost in the span of 24 hours. There is still hope in the sports world before 2026. All right, we're back with more of Gary and Matt after this in 1620 The Zone. All right, this is day 12 of 23 straight of football. Today is the Idaho Potato Bowl.
Hell yes.
The winning coach gets a bucket of French fries poured over him. 6-6 Utah State against 6-6 Washington State.
Let's go Cougs.
Cougars 2.5-point underdog in that one.
1 p.m. on ESPN. It kicks off 16 college. Yeah, because you have the NFL tonight.
1 p.m.
Father Time against CMC.
1 p.m. on a Monday.
Yeah.
People will watch.
Is the Idaho Potato Bowl?
It's always been.
Yes, it is.
The
It's a holiday.
potato.
The Potato Bowl.
Potato Bowl.
Yes. So they're playing in Boise on the blue field. 1 o'clock today.
One of the great
Day,
bowls.
day 12 of 23 straight days of football. We have 16 more college football games this week. So pace yourself. So when you're watching that pickleball Christmas movie on Lifetime, we've reached the end of the world. I came across that last night. Dabble over on some football. Or you got basketball tonight. Creighton takes on Utah Tech, who can't hit free throws, can't hit threes. That's true. I think they shoot 64% from the line.
Be watching Old Man Rivers tonight.
Yeah, the average team in college basketball converts at 72% from the free throw line. Utah Tech at 64% when I last looked. So 19.5-point favorite. Ken Palm has it 80-61, Creighton over Utah Tech.
Oh, wow.
This is the third time this year that Creighton has been favored by 19.5 or more. They've covered one time.
Oh yeah, it was on the the Conan dunk at the very end, I believe. It had the backdoor cover against, I want to say it was South Dakota. It was the backdoor, or no, Maryland Eastern Shore. It was Maryland Eastern Shore. They had the backdoor cover.
School.
Yeah, it was. They have not. Yeah, Creighton against the spread off the top of my head, probably not.
5-7.
Yeah, probably not the best team. What are the Kansas City Chiefs against the spread this year?
Not good.
Probably something disgusting, like 2-10 or 2-13 or something. I can look right now. It is bad.
Look that up. College football playoff. There's a lot of tweaks. Hopefully, we got some momentum this weekend. I don't know why FBS will not adopt FCS playoff format. We're going to 16, and I hope that we do. We get 8 home playoff games because the experience of watching what they were doing in Norman, College Station, at the SIP.
Yeah.
Ole Miss probably, of the 4 winning teams, probably looked the best. I guess players play the game. Coaches don't matter. But Mississippi looked really good. But now they have a rematch against Georgia at the Sugar Bowl. Oregon looked good, and then they shut her down. They were up 48-13, and then everybody that lives in Eugene got a chance to play. So I think Mississippi, looked the best.
Sure.
Doesn't mean they're the best team, but they probably looked the best for the longest time. But here's the thing with the playoff, and everybody has hot takes on Group of 5, okay? They don't want a Group of 5 separate tournament because basically it is FCS extra.
Yes.
We need to have more home playoff games.
Agreed.
Indiana, wouldn't you love to play Alabama and Bloomington? But instead, you're going to a neutral site where the weather will not really be a factor because it'll be at the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
But home playoff games, we need more of them. We don't need them in random cities and NFL stadiums.
No.
The other thing that the sport has to do with the calendar, it is the only sport where they take basically a month off before you play again in a game that is crucial.
Yeah.
I know we did it for the championship when it was just one team.
Yeah.
But think about Georgia, India. I mean, you almost hurt yourself by winning your conference championship game.
Yeah.
Now, Indiana, Ohio State both got a bye. But it's the only sport out there where you take a month off.
It's crazy.
Before playing in your postseason.
It's crazy.
Everybody else gets like, we announce the field on Sunday, we play on Thursday.
Yeah.
Or you play on Tuesday or Wednesday with the men's basketball championships. But in football, we take a month off. They got to find a way to close that gap for the teams that get the bye, or no buys, 8 home playoff games. We go the field of 16 and we just roll it.
Humans are routine based, right? A routine is great. That's why everybody tries to establish a routine, right? And like football players and football programs try and establish the most consistent routine they possibly can to keep themselves level and going. When you haven't gotten hit at full speed in a month and haven't properly prepared for a game in a month and haven't been in those stressful situations for a month, you get thrown out of your routine. All 4 teams last year of the college football playoff lost off the bye.
Yeah.
All of them. The bye week, Gary.
Is anybody that's won this weekend a favorite? Like the closest line is 1.5. But like the Ohio State Miami line is kind of big. Everything else is like 6.5, 7.5.
So
and then Texas Tech, Oregon is a 1.5 point favorite, right?
So
at the Orange Bowl against Texas Tech.
Oregon is a 1.5 point favorite. Miami's a 9.5 point underdog. Bama's a 6.5 point underdog. Ole Miss is a 6.5 point underdog. So all the bye teams minus Texas Tech are favored, and that one's a 1.5. So you're right. I just think that it's wild to me that a bye week is supposed to be an advantage for these teams, right? You play one less game, one less wear and tear. You get an extra week to prepare, right? And scout maybe both teams. And if you're a team like Texas Tech, you know Oregon's going to be JMU, right? So you're scouting Oregon the entire time, and yet, like you mentioned, like it could be a disadvantage because you don't have your legs under you for a whole month. It makes zero sense.
Andrew writes in because the group of 5 stuff was off the chains this weekend.
Was it not an agenda? Did it not feel like an agenda to you from because here's why. ESPN owns these games, and ESPN now knows that all these people are going to be in and be like, oh, I don't really want to watch the JMU Oregon game. I don't want to watch the Ole Miss Tulane game. And so they had all of their big people go ahead and tell you how this isn't good for the sport and blah, 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 just so they can get another marquee matchup that you can tune into.
The whining during the Ole Miss Tulane game was a little bit much.
It was insane.
But we have blowouts, okay? The gap between Power 4 and Group of 5 has never been this large. We've added a couple of teams that can win a national championship, but we've added that gap. And Cinderella's hibernate in college football. That the 2 afternoon games were great for September. They were not great for December. And we're going towards the Big Ten and the SEC are going to separate, okay? And they're going to have their own tournament. Yeah. The elites are going to separate. Yeah. The thing about the Group of 5, and I still think there should be inclusion in Group of 5. We had one too many this year.
Exactly. There should be one.
But look at last year. Boise State got in because they earned it. Remember what they did at the beginning of the year? They gave Oregon a great game. Okay, they almost upset Oregon. And what they did afterwards, they didn't lose again.
No.
So they earned their way into it. I'm glad that Group of 5 does not have an auto. But Boise State showed you the path last year. Is you get that opportunity. Not everybody does because not everybody wants to play JMU in the regular season. But if you have that opportunity, either you pull off an upset or look good and then don't trip up. The margin of error for Group of 5 is so small when it comes to rankings, but also on the field.
Yeah.
Like Tulane and James Madison are nice teams, but they have to be almost damn near perfect to win a game like that.
Well,
and you saw that right away with Tulane. They looked good in the first quarter, but what was the score? They were down 14-0.
Well, another thing too is, Gary, is that if you're going to win those games, you have to be perfect, and then you have to pray that Oregon just doesn't show up, or Ole Miss just doesn't show up. How often does that really happen in sports where both those things occur? So I'm in favor of this. One Group of 5 team, only one Group of 5 team, because it's something to play for, right? Those G5 teams, right? If you were to make their own tournament, you're right. It'd be like
it's FCS
extra, and like no one would really like. Are we really going to celebrate? Oh, they're the Group of 5 tournament champion. No, you get one spot in the playoff. There are probably about 15 teams in G5 who look at that one spot and say, hey, we have a good roster this year. The schedule is manageable. We could probably go ahead and compete for that one spot. And then they have something to play for. And, in theory, that last G5 spot, that's supposed to be pretty. I thought it was pretty entertaining this year when some of these teams were playing each other, right? And competing and being like, hey, Navy versus North Texas and North Texas versus Tulane and like all these different matchups. It got some just really hardcore college football playoff fans can maybe watch some G5 games they wouldn't have in the past. And so I think that's good for those teams. But to say that, man, like we have these people, to me, Gary, who are straddling both sides of the line. where they want to go ahead and they go, oh, I love the spirit of college football and I love old college football and we need to do things to save that. And then they straddle the other line where it's just like, I'm all about like the best matchups and money winning and everything like that. And it's just annoying to me. Pick one or the other.
ESPN has the microphones, and that was embarrassing.
It was embarrassing.
But Joe Klatt he just doesn't have the microphone during the playoff. The Big Ten and the SEC don't want Group of Five. So it's not like it's just an SEC ESPN thing. It is the elites don't want inclusion from Group of Five. They want to keep it to their own. They want to add an extra bit. You know what? We won't have this discussion when we go to 16 and they include just one, okay? Because it's just one. Yeah. This year, we included two. That's why the love-hate relationship with the committee, because we don't like two Group of Five, but God, we like our matchups that are coming on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day.
Hey, yeah, you're right. But I'll say this, Gary. You can blame the committee, and it's fine to blame the committee, and it's fine to blame the people who made the rules. Also blame the ACC and the fact that
they won. Well, they won this weekend.
Blame the ACC because they didn't get their conference champion in the playoff.
That is true.
It's all their fault. If the ACC was an actual, not like a legitimate power conference, their conference champion, the team that won the tournament would have been in the playoff.
Well, we can do so. Let's just throw out a lot of blame because conference realignment, conference expansion, no divisions. You are a product of your schedule. Maybe you have a nice schedule, so you win it, and so you get into the playoff, but yet you look at them and go, yeah, they're okay. The legitimacy of your team, Texas A&M, I got you.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of things about the sport. We need to find more people that love the sport, that talk about the sport, and that can find some of the good in sport. And if you can't find some of the good in sport, then we got to fix the sport. But the fix isn't taking out Group of Five teams. I mean, the fix, and we've gone way down the path. We're not going to be able to slow it. The conference expansion and just kind of started all of this stuff.
It did.
Where it's all over the map, and I love the sport, but I love it when the game kicks off. And then once the game is over, we go back to, man, we got so many things wrong with the sport, and it's wild because the athletes have never been better inside of college football.
Mm-hmm.
The TV ratings have never been better.
Yeah.
But the sport as a whole is a mess.
It is.
It's the balance of the weird dynamic of where college football is today.
It's incredible you say that because you know me, like with the whole like mock drafts and everything like that and loving the draft. Dude, there are like 9 prospects that I look at them and I go, that's a Pro Bowler. This is very slowly, especially for the defensive side of the field. This is slowly becoming like, hey, this could be a potential all-timer NFL draft here in terms of the first 10 picks. And yet, what are we discussing? How many Group of Five teams should be in our 12-team playoff? And we're not talking about the fact that Arvell Reese and Caleb Downs that is one of the greatest linebacker safety duos you could ever have in college football.
Or we're talking about, can you go find a sugar daddy? Is there a sugar daddy in Phoenix? Thank you, Kenny Dillingham, for saying that out loud.
That was crazy.
We're back to put a wrap on this Monday edition of Gary and Matt on 1620 The Zone. All right, the radio station. Everybody's got today and tomorrow, and then we're going to break for the holidays. Some of us will be back on January 5th. We're going to do a YouTube show on the 2nd.
Yes.
I believe that you and I will be, because there'll be a lot of stuff going on the 2nd. That'll be Nebraska-Michigan State Day. It'll be the start of the portal. But Bish and I will be doing Big Red Overreaction on the 31st, following the 2:30 kickoff between Nebraska and Utah. And we'll have one more severe reaction. That'll be on Sunday morning, January 4th at the regularly scheduled time, 8 to 10. So put that on your calendar as we wrap up the 2025 season. We got Creighton basketball tonight, tips at 7, pregame at 6, Blue Jay overtime, 10 minutes.
Probably 40, but
40 for Utah Tech?
that's what we're required. We have to do.
Wow.
We have to do.
Thank God it's a 7 o'clock game
Yeah.
for you.
We're anywhere between 45 to an hour is typically where we're at. So we will be on. We've talked about the Trailblazers. Hopefully, talking about a solid performance from Creighton. That'd be very nice. Or if we're not talking about a solid performance for Creighton, then we'd be talking about the sky falling. So I'd
Then you're
prefer
talking about a
happy over-
John Rothstein tweet.
Yes, I would.
The
What,
epitome-
anarchy? No,
The
that's college
epitome
basketball.
of brutality, losing a bye game. I do not see that happening tonight.
Great prediction, Gary.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. Breaking. Gary Sharp predicts the 20-point favorite won't lose.
They may not cover, but they will not lose.
I
tonight.
don't know. I have a pretty good read on Creighton games and whether or not they'll cover spreads. I could see the shoe on either foot because Creighton has played South Dakota and North Dakota and really not played all that well against those Summit League teams.
I say this because these games are tricky. And especially you played a couple of high-level games.
Oh, yeah.
And so you got one more. Guys are going away. They don't play again until
Well-
the 30th when they play Butler. So, I don't know. Like we saw last night, a very unathletic but play-hard Summit League team, North Dakota. For people that are asking me, Eli King actually still he's like of age.
He still has eligibility.
People are thinking, like, is he mid-30s? Like he was working on an oil rig
He's
up
of
there
age.
in Grand Forks, and they're like, hey, we need a guy when we go down to Lincoln to play. They'll be back. What does Omaha play them? I think Omaha plays them first full week in January, I think.
Will he just go ahead and shave his head?
Am I a psycho for I was actually kind of happy that Nebraska was missing shots in the first half against North Dakota because I was like, good. Have your bad shooting game against a team you'll eventually just out athlete and beat, and don't have your bad shooting games against the good teams.
That was a game that, for the first time this year in the Nebraska game, I went, God, it would have been nice to have a Season come off the bench
and
just
give
to
you a
add
spark.
a shooter.
I think that's a great point. I also think though, like it wasn't okay. I didn't feel this way, or I felt this way. I don't know if everybody else felt this way, but watching them play yesterday, they were struggling. The Nebraska teams in the past, I would be a little nervous. I'd be like, whoa, what's going on here? Like, what are they doing? I was never really nervous during that game.
Let me introduce you
like,
to the 25-26 Bear K-led Nebraska Cornhuskers with the National Coach of the Year, Fred Hoiberg. We have
okay.
Hey.
Time out.
One
Time
seed.
out. We're gonna draw the line. We're drawing the line in the sand.
One
here.
seed, just a matter of
Not-
which region.
They are not Bear K led yet. Okay, they are led by Rink Masks and Price Sanford. They are not Bear. They are not Bear K. That was a little. You're taking a step too far here. They're not Bear K led.
Hey, good poll question. I just thought about this.
Go ahead.
I might have been exaggerating, but the guy had a triple-double last night.
He did.
You know what?
He messed around.
Rink Mast had his triple-double and football was still going on, so we didn't pay attention to it.
Yesterday was a good day for Bear K Buchton, Joe.
His fantasy team won.
No, you made a today was a good day reference.
On
Ice
hey, look
Cube.
at you. He's
messed
back.
around and got a triple double.
Yes, the Lakers did not play
So-
Like MJ.
So who would have
Gotta
thought?
say.
Who would have thought 3 years ago the Q rating for the Hoibergs would be much greater than the Q rating for the Raiolas?
That's a great question, Gary.
Because
Say
Fred
they live in the
Hoiberg.
upside down.
Because this is what. So I got a little intel on what happened at halftime when Nebraska goes in the locker room. They're down South Dakota. You guys might not know this. I don't know how well you know the guy that's the head basketball coach at Nebraska.
I know him not personally, but I know his career very well.
NBA
because,
Live 2001.
Is he-
sharpshooter?
Well, because he played for my favorite team and then he coached my favorite team. And then I went to college. I followed Fred Hoiberg from Chicago to Nebraska.
Timberwolves legend.
I was like, I can't get away from this guy.
So it started in Britain, and Ames, Iowa was a long way away from Great Britain.
What?
People forget. Yeah, won't be in the Big 12.
So like there's a couple of sites out there that use this phrase, and you might even see T-shirts. Fred last night channeled his inner wartime.
Nice.
He just walked in the locker room, and this is all he said last night. He said, "Keep calm and carry on." That's all he said. And because he's got a veteran team who's got a lot of history majors on it, they were like, "Coach, I know how that war turned out."
Could have quoted Patton.
Are you saying that Fred Hoiberg is the second coming of Winston Churchill? Is that your comparison?
I did not say that at all. Or he might be a fan of what's the website? Chives?
Chive?
Chive.
The Chive.
Britannica?
The Chive,
Are you
yes.
talking about
Keep
Britannica?
calm, keep calm and chive on.
What is the Chive?
Look up the Chive.
The Chive sounds like
No,
a really bad Hive cover band.
It's a very popular, probably your age site.
Yeah.
Is it like the Babylon Bee?
Also good on a baked potato.
The Chive.
The Chive. On.
It's
Wait,
not
sorry.
NSFW.
I'm a dummy. I'm DK Metcalf. 1 second.
Wow.
The Chive.
Funny photos, memes, and videos.
The Chive. Funnies, photos, memes, and videos. Good old dad humor.
Yeah.
TheChive.com.
There you go.
Daily morning awesomeness. How do you know about this site?
How do you know? We all do.
True stories that totally sound made up. Wild all Monday morning.
Summed up my life.
Monday morning means military Monday awesomeness. How is this grumpy memes and good old dad humor?
But their tagline for their shirts is "Keep calm and carry on."
It goes the Chives GIFs of the week, and there's a picture of Sidney Sweeney and Batman right next to each other.
Look at that. You can't
As it
go
should
wrong
be.
with those two. That's
As
the
it should
Shaq
be.
and Kobe of their time.
Why is there a fake donkey like a Donkey Kong made out of chocolate? Is like one of the
Why is there not?
Yeah. Why doesn't the zone have a donkey?
Christmas crushes who gave us all the feels.
Shout out Phoebe Cates.
Just click on it.
Is this safe for work?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's safe for
Yeah.
work.
They like thong.
We've
Thursday.
compiled another batch of holiday honeys. If you haven't read it yet, you can check out part 1 on our Christmas Crushes series. Reese Witherspoon as Kate in 4 Christmases.
Hey.
David writes into the Equitable Bank inbox where
Milk
they take
Mondays?
banking personally. Happy
Jeez.
holidays, Doug, and his
Jimmy.
fantastic crew.
I'm more of a military Monday guy.
You didn't know that women could hold guns like that, did you?
I'm a
David
whole
writes
plan.
in about Kyle Whittingham. So who I said earlier in the show, Michigan should just go ahead and hire him. Okay. He'll stabilize the program for at least a year, maybe 2, while you figure it out and you get rid of the president, AD, or whoever else is going to be caught in the shrapnel of Sharon Moore. David says, if Whittingham is going to go to Michigan, why is he wasting his time on the Vegas Bowl? That's too big of a job to put off until after a meeting with the bowl game. Well, Whittingham would hold all the cards, and he's not gonna do Utah like that. I mean, he's a legend. They'll
Yeah.
build a statue of him.
Those are his
So he'll
dudes.
do one more. He would be probably the last resort as we need a guy. But the longer this goes on, maybe Biff has got a chance just to stability.
Yeah.
Just get him through a year. You could go, man, I think Charlotte did Biff wrong. And
Well-
people in the league are going to go, man, Biff is better at game management than Sharon is.
There it is.
That might be a wise choice. So it'll be kind of interesting. But I think if Kyle Whittingham kind of makes it sound like he's not done coaching, does he go and work with his son with the Chiefs? Or does he go and run Michigan football and you go, uh-oh.
So I apologize
That'd be
for
a really good hire. Would have been a really good hire about 10 years ago in Nebraska.
I apologize for my ignorance here,
That'd be in
but
good shape.
who is the guy that's supposed to take over for Whittingham is in-house. It's their DC.
Yes.
Morgan
Yes.
Scully. Yeah.
Okay. So I got that vibe too, because I thought originally it was just, hey, I'm 68, I'm retiring, I'm done. I want to, hang out with my family or whatever.
He's younger than I am.
And then I started to read that the Utah people were like, well, the guy that's replacing him is kind of like, he's a gem. And
Yeah.
if we're not going to hire him now, he's going to go somewhere else and be a really good head coach there. And so then I started to get that vibe of, okay, I think that this is more of a, hey, you're older. Hey, we want this guy to eventually be
we
our
really
head
want to
coach.
keep him.
We love you. We'll see you later. And then he probably very cordially could go to Michigan if he wants to. But it's just also too, how long is he going to be the head coach as a 68-year-old? I mean, do you see Kyle Whittingham making all the way to 78?
Look at Kirk Ferentz.
Like living?
He's in
No,
great
I mean,
shape.
Oh, I see him making it to
He is-
110.
He
looks
looks great.
great.
He looks
Yeah.
great for 6'8".
I don't even know if
I
I'll make it
and
to
also, too,
Thursday.
Gary, people forget that Bryce Underwood looked his best under Biff Poggi. Like his best games visually were when Biff was his coach.
I watched a game in Lincoln.
Did you see him run for? Did you see him run for a touchdown in Lincoln? Did you see him hit his head?
I saw
on
him
the
try and
goalpost in
throw the
Lincoln?
football. Quarterback also has to throw the football.
Not that quarterback. That quarterback's awesome.
All right, there is a quarterback that's gone into the portal from the Big Ten. Aaron Nolan, who was at Ohio State, went to South Carolina. He'll be on to his third school in 3 years. I went and looked up. He did not put out an Instagram post.
Oh,
Bad.
wow!
Rocco Beck, good.
What a terrible human.
Kind of surprising. We're now a week into this.
I don't care.
No
anymore.
IG post.
I don't give a damn.
No IG post.
See you later, bud. Hey, good luck with everything.
I'd like to see it.
I don't.
You
care.
begin with an IG post, you end with an
You
IG
made
post.
Me,
That's the rules.
you made me.
I don't make them up. I just follow them.
You made me put his Instagram post on my notifications, and I've been waiting. No, I don't care, Dylan. Have fun. Have fun with Jeff Brom as your head coach.
Maybe Jeff Brom will go to Michigan.
Ooh, Dylan in a Michigan uniform. Are they an Adidas school? Probably not.
Jumpman?
Oh yeah, they are. Dude, the Jumpman logo up at what? Come on.
All right.
I was making an Adidas joke, not a I don't know who Michigan is sponsored by.
Learn Michael Jordan. Thank you. All right.
Yes, from born from Skokie.
Enjoy the Creighton basketball tonight. We'll talk to you tomorrow for the final show of 2025.